Welcome, everybody, to We Geek Podcast. Today is December 4th. My name is Adam, joined by my good friend Logan.
Hello. Did we jump in time 3 days?
Oh, did we jump in time? I thought it said December 1st.
No, 4th.
Oh, well, I mean December 1st. So, greetings from the future. Yes.
You've been watching that Earth X crossover. It's messing you up, isn't it?
Oh, man, geez. Yeah, we'll talk about that for just a brief second here, man. The CW, a Crisis on Earth X, and I love the graphic. It looks straight up from the comic books.
Nice.
If you have been sleeping on these CW shows, don't worry. You can watch this week's crossover event. It's a 4-parter starting with Supergirl, goes into Arrow, goes into The Flash, goes into Legends. And you don't have to see anything from the season. I've seen maybe the first episode of The Flash, so spoilers, he's back. But other than that, you don't really have to know that much about it. You'll quickly pick on because you'll know most of the characters. The Legends, some of them you might not recognize, but man, is it fun. It is I saw Justice League within the last 2 weeks, and to me it was better than that because of just how much fun it was. The stakes were real. It's definitely universe shattering by what happens at the end.
Wow.
Yes, after the end of this event, it changes a lot of stuff moving forward in that universe. It's almost like a season finale. I'm surprised they don't hold all of this off for a season finale. I know the MidSeason Finale is next week for all the shows, but man, was it a treat. So if you got it on DVR and you've been holding off or what have you, if you wait to get them on iTunes or whatnot, definitely check out this week's, and it will get you excited.
Nice. Yeah, it's good to hear that you don't have to have been invested in the season to jump into it. I like that, because I'm so behind on all that, but. You know, if it's jump in and watch it, you'll be good, then I will definitely do that. Hell yeah.
Yeah, jump right in. It's really good. It's so good. I can't say enough good about it.
Nice.
But yeah, so yeah, well, let's jump into it, man. Well, first, actually, it's been a little bit. It's entirely my fault, but we are going to be back on schedule starting next week. You should hear us. We will be recording on Tuesday. You should hear us around Wednesday, live up on your podcast app and whatnot. And but yeah, I just wanted to address that. So sorry about that. It's just been super busy. We've been busy with work, and this time of year with the holidays, it's just been nuts.
Yeah. Should we talk about the YouTube channel real quick?
Oh yeah. We're going to, and I believe starting with this episode, we are going to start putting it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look for We Geek Podcast on YouTube. So we will share the link on all of our social media accounts and everything, so you can find it. So if YouTube's your jam and that's where you want to go to kind of listen to it and put it in the background, that will be there as well. So it's cool. Awesome. Oh, also, I have a new mic, so if it's going to take some tweaking. I'm going to get one of those things that stop the popping and whatnot.
A pop filter. Yeah, I have. I love the one that I have, because I was every time I would try to demo anything, it was bad. It was so bad.
Yeah.
Because I just talk that way. You know, I push everything out, and it takes getting used to, especially when you change equipment, for sure.
Oh yeah. So my apologies if my voice sounds a little bit funky this time around, but yeah. So I'll be getting that in the next week. So next week it should sound a lot better. But how have you been, man? How's your week's been?
It's been insane. They decided at my first job to schedule me all the days I'm not working at my other job, so I had 13 straight without one off, and I was just, by the end of it, I was just dead. I was so tired.
Oh yeah, man, you need to rest. You need to, you gotta take care of your head
I was just exhausted, and I don't ever want to do that again.
Yeah, no, dude, I do not blame you. So now you're starting to get a day or two off now.
Yeah,
normally?
I've got my one off, which is fine. You know, it's two at my theater job and four at my delivery job, and then I get one off to just kind of unwind and relax and you know anything that I need to schedule or any errands I've got to run that aren't real time sensitive. I'm like, that's my day to just whatever.
Let me ask you, because we're kind of the same. We love watching these shows and movies and games and stuff like that. You ever get time off and you just don't do anything and you kind of feel guilty for it a little bit?
I had that moment about a week ago, actually. Like I got home from work and it was a morning shift, so I had the rest of the day, and I was like, I should go to sleep. I should do something. I should work on something. I should try to make something. And instead I'm just sitting here watching Top Gear because it's on Amazon Prime, and I'm like, why isn't anything getting done? Why aren't I doing anything? Oh, that's right, because I have no motivation whatsoever. And
Right.
I had kind of that like mini crisis kind of moment of like, what am I doing? Why am I not doing anything? And after a while, it finally came back to me like, dude, you're on like your 8th day of working 13 days in a row. It's okay to just relax. You don't always have to be doing something. And that's it. Yeah, it was a weird thing. It really was.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And so that I kind of had the same thing. I even slept in the other day, which I know sounds crazy to a lot of people, but I felt so guilty about it. And I talked to someone, and they were like, "Well, you slept in? Like that's." They're like, "I do that every day, like when I can, or their
Yeah.
days off. Not obviously not when they're working, but they're like, "Well, it's your day off, sleep in." I was like, "No, I feel guilty. Like I could have went and gotten my hair cut or done something productive."
I I
And
know that
I didn't.
feeling. I know that
I
feeling
felt so
so well.
guilty.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, yeah, and like the whole day went by. I did a lot of. It felt like errands, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I didn't do anything like to like relax. And I felt like, oh well, back to work tomorrow. That was a big waste. I don't know. I felt weird about it. I don't know if I'm portraying that correctly or not.
No. Yeah. No. I get it. I get the feeling. Like it's
Yeah.
and because sometimes it just creeps up on you and it makes you crazy, and you just gotta let it go. You gotta say, you know what, you know, when you're somebody that's working and you get any kind of time to just kind of unwind or relax, it's okay to take it. Like it is okay to just take a little time for yourself, especially if you're somebody during the season now working retail or anything. You know, I know your pain running, because I mean, these people are going to be hauling ass all around the store for the next month and change. And if you get a second to just sit down and breathe, take it. Just take it. Like it's
Oh yeah. Yeah, and if you're a consumer, be nice. Be so nice to these people. They're out there working, and especially this time of year, late hours, and that you, along with 200 other people, have probably asked them the same question about if they have the Nintendo Switch in the back or what have you. So be kind. Be kind whenever you can, especially during this time of year.
yeah.
Yeah.
What was
Um,
the oh man, who was it? It was Patton. It was Patton Oswalt who in his newest special. What was it that his late wife said? It's chaos. Be kind.
oh, I
And
like that.
I thought that was just such a magnificently simple, powerful message. And it's you know and and if you go see a movie, don't leave a fucking mess. Come on, people.
Oh, I hate that. Oh, that reminds me. I now have the movie pass. I don't know if I talked about that last week.
No, because we weren't here last week.
Okay,
So
well, yeah, I'm sorry, the
no, I
last
don't.
podcast.
Yeah, no, I don't think you
Okay,
had it last time. So tell me, how do you like it?
so I love it. I
Yeah.
I jumped on when they had the like Black Friday sale where it was like $6.95 a month, but you have to do it all up front. So it was like $85 or something. But now I am so happy that for the rest of the year my tickets are bought and paid for. I can just walk into the movie theater and see whatever I want as long as it's. One thing I'm not too clear on because it says no 3D movies, but I have an Adobe Theater here which is an upcharge. So I don't know how that works. I don't know if like
anything premium. Like we have one like that too, which is like a $2 extra, like kind of luxury-ish theater.
Now, can I do that as much as I want, or are they going to be like, you've done the premium too many times? That's against the rules.
I don't think you can do any premium.
Okay, because I went on the forum and it said like some people did that a few times and it paid the $12 or 12 whatever, but it didn't pay the extra. They had to pay like $3 or something.
And that may be. But I know they like blank out the 3D stuff, like they gray out the 3D movies.
Yeah, they didn't blank out the premium ones for me.
Then so they may. I don't know. I don't know. Try it, maybe. I hesitate to say that because I don't know.
I'll look into it.
Yeah, and if nothing else, send them a thing like through customer service, like, hey, does this just cover like the base ticket and then I have to cover the charge? Am I going to get in trouble for this? Whatever, because you're not trying to game the system, you just don't know. So
right, exactly.
I mean that's
so you're right. I'm going to reach out to customer service. I'll give them a call and see what I need to do, or I'm sure there's like a chat or something I can do. But man, I loved it. I went and saw Justice League before I did I see it before I had the ticket? No, I saw Justice League, and then I went and saw Thor over the weekend, and it was so simple. I walked up to the theater, opened up the app, tapped on what I was gonna see. It took just a few seconds, less than 30 seconds. It came back and then lit up and said, "You're ready to see the movie." And I went up to the stands and I used my card. One thing I did learn, and you told me as well, is they told me I could not use my my AMC like Stubs pass, which makes sense because then I would fill that up super fast.
Yeah, that and like Regal's whatever there's like their insider thing doesn't do, because it's weird because it's built into their terms and service agreements. Is like subscription services don't count, like you can't redeem because technically you didn't pay for it kind of thing. Like it's weird legalese stuff, but like I don't think anybody's rewards programs are compatible with MoviePass, and I understand that. I think that's fine.
It's still worth the MoviePass to me because I still get like however much off on the concessions, and on Tuesdays I don't know if I get like free popcorn or something, I forget, but on top of that I had $10 already on my card, so I put that towards the person I was with. So but yeah, no, it was, oh man, it was, I saw Thor, and I'm sure we'll talk about it later, but I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and it just, I don't know, I felt so much better just walking in and not having to drop any more money besides the concession stuff.
It frees you up, and it really does. I'm telling you, man, if you're out there and you see 2 movies a month, this thing is worth your money. Because that's
I think we all know I'm going to see Star Wars 12 times this month, so it's going to be totally worth it. They're going to see me literally every day I'm off, or even like, yep, another one for Star Wars, and yeah, man, it's great. I can't wait to continue using this thing. There's a few movies in the theater I still want to see. I want to go see Thor again. I kind of want to see Justice League again just to get a better, I don't know.
Why?
I'm in the mood for superhero stuff. So.
Yeah, you saw it once. That's enough. Go see Coco. Coco was amazing.
Oh yeah, that's a good call. Good call. There you go. I'll go see that. I'm looking forward to Black Panther. I kind of bought the pass at a weird time though, because this is after Star Wars. There's kind of a lull for a few months.
Yeah, but you see, I think that's the best time to have it, is because now you can look at movies and go, would I pay to see that? Nah. But I don't have anything to do right now, and I've got a MoviePass. I'll go see it. What the hell?
That's very true.
Yeah, I think this is the best time to see it, because now
I'm probably going to see things like Jumanji and stuff like that I just would have not paid for.
Yeah. Oh man, we had.
It's got good reviews. Did you see that?
Jumanji?
Yeah. Apparently, it's come back all positive.
Wow. Okay.
The first people who saw it, they apparently loved it. They thought it was really fun.
Look, every time I've been in a crowd at a theater and they've watched the trailer, people laugh. I mean, it's gonna connect, and I want it to work because it's it is different, and I'm hoping there's, it looks like they recognize, look, the first one was what it was, and we can't touch that. But I hope it's good. I want it to be good, and because I don't want movies to be bad, because that would be weird. But
Right.
I don't know. Like, I'll see it. I know I'll see it, but I don't know.
Well, speaking of going to the movies and all this stuff, a big trailer dropped this week.
Yeah. It was interesting. I was not expecting that the day before. Like, the teaser for the trailer was brilliant and silly and kind of ridiculous all at once, but it was really fun.
And now, remind me, what was the teaser?
The teaser was a compilation of fan reaction videos to previous trailers.
Oh, yeah. I actually really enjoyed that. I thought that was cool.
It was a fun little, like, we appreciate the fans and we respect how much you appreciate what we do kind of thing. Like, I liked it. I really did.
Oh, yeah. I think the big studios could probably start pulling that off now. Like, I don't want for every movie, but, like, I think they could do that for Star Wars. They could do that for Harry Potter. They could, they could do that for the DC movies. It'd be really cool.
You just know that it's only going to make Kevin Smith crying more of a meme now than it already is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I can't wait to hear his reaction from seeing that because right off the bat, 240 million people watched it in 24 hours.
Jesus. Holy cow.
Right, and people are talking about there's too much comic book stuff that people get it. They're over it now. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You're getting stuff like that. I was just thinking about that too. Like in the last 2 weeks, saw Justice League, saw Thor, watched The Punisher. I still have like an episode or two left. Watched The Runaways, watched the CW show, watched Gifted. There's so much cool comic book stuff right now. You can turn on the television and watch something from Earth X. Or The Punisher, or go in the movies and see, see basically World War Hulk and stuff like that. Like I can't imagine 10 years ago someone being like, all of this is, this is what's all going to happen on television and movies.
Yeah,
it's insane right now, and the good thing is almost all of it is quality. At the very worst, it's okay, but it's all good stuff right now. I haven't had that many duds. I mean, like real duds. In a while. Suicide Squad, I think, was a misstep, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to think about the age we live in right now.
That's very true. Yeah, it's very true. But yeah, that Infinity War trailer was amazing.
Yeah, it is
so
what
good.
10 or however many years in the making. The Avengers Infinity War Part 2 or whatever. It's going to be like their 20th movie, right?
Yeah, I think so. And did you see what Feige had been saying about what they're just calling Avengers 4 right now?
What are they calling it?
Well, just that, like, they don't have a title because the title is apparently a big spoiler for Infinity War.
I hope it is Avengers the Fantastic Four.
No.
Phase 4 has to be that because rumors are Disney is back in talks with I don't know if this is on the agenda. I don't think it is, but they are back in talks with 20th Century Fox now because all these other companies have been like, oh wait, you want to sell?
That's the thing, like Verizon and Comcast and like
no, they better not. Fuck that.
Everybody has been lining up to try and take a piece of this, but I think if you're Disney, you take that Disney money giant dick and you just slap it on the table, and you say, and you just tell them, name your price. Because here's the thing, when this was just kind of all going on hush hush whatever, Fox probably had a pretty decent price tag on it. Now that that value's gone up. That they're coming back to the table and saying, okay, now we can sell for a shit ton more money because of all this. And it's going to get to the point where it's going to be Disney, and that's probably it, that can really afford it.
Maybe Apple, but yes, I hope Disney gets it. It would make the most sense.
Yeah, but I mean, just like I don't like Verizon can't afford that much.
No.
Comcast.
No, I do not want an ISP to get it.
Yeah, especially.
I'd rather Amazon or Apple over an ISP.
Yes, especially since we we're gonna lose net neutrality now. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Exactly. Good doings. So, but I didn't know they were back in talks. I'm not surprised. But
it's been all over the news this week that they're definitely back in talks, and that it's something that could happen. So I mean, I know a lot of people are worried that the big mouse is going to now control all this stuff, but I welcome it because
look what they've done. Look what they've done with stuff. They've done fantastic. I give it to them. I'm down. Like
until they do like a major misstep, which I don't think they have. I can't. It's hard to criticize them when they pump out. Like what we're about to talk about, like just all these years of preparation, all of hard work of these 19. This will be their 19th film, building characters, building worlds, just building relationships, and it's something that DC did not have the luxury of doing because they just simply didn't do it. They jumped into Justice League, and we got 3 new characters that were just kind of shoehorned into it because they have to be in it because as a Justice League film with the Avengers, there's history here. You know, when he says somebody give that man a shield, I got fucking goosebumps.
Yeah,
we've been waiting for this, and we all know. We kind of think back. Oh, that's right. During the Civil War, there was a huge divide between Tony and Cap, and oh shit, Tony's got the phone. He told Captain America to call him, in case there's some shit goes down, or Captain America gave to him. So like, there's little things in the trailer that we're going to notice, the big comic book fans are going to notice, and the regular audience is just like, holy shit, how many heroes this is the equivalent, as big as you can get as a major Marvel comic book event.
And it's, and they're talking about Avengers 4 as a finale to all of this.
Yes.
And setting up for the next group. And it's not just going to be people that are leaving. That's why I think the title for Avengers 4, I know everybody's saying, well, it's Infinity Gauntlet or something. It's going to be something like the Death of Captain America or something huge like that.
Avengers Disassembled.
But I mean, they did that after Civil War, though. Like, I mean, that's, we have that already.
Did they?
Pretty much. I mean, we got new Avengers at one point, and then, they kind of all fell apart.
I think they're all going to die.
I don't think they're going to kill all of them.
I think that would be imagine that. And again, I don't know anything from anything.
Yeah.
But imagine walking. I just know that Thanos has the ability to be a god, and whoever has the Gauntlet has the ability to a god. So maybe someone survives like SpiderMan or something and changes stuff. But wouldn't it be fucking rad to walk out of the theater next year on May 4th? And 90% of the Marvel heroes are dead. Imagine being a kid. Imagine being 8 years old.
Yeah, imagine
not knowing what's going to happen next. And, oh shit, I gotta fucking see the next movie.
No. Imagine being 8 years old and you walk out of that with your parents who now have to put up with 3 weeks of you crying because all the heroes died. No.
I wish they had the balls to do that, because that would be so big. And then in the next one, you figure out a way to Spider-Man or somebody save them. Or half of them. Like, knock out, like, half the heroes in this. And maybe by the end of part 2, have the big 3 go. Have Thor, Cap, and Iron Man done with, so that someone else can take on the mantles. Or at least sideline them. Where I don't think we're going to get another standalone Iron Man movie, standalone Thor movie, a standalone Captain America movie.
Right.
And if they do, it would be, I think, like Falcon or Bucky or something.
Right. Well, I mean, because the big thing is all the contracts are up.
Right.
That's the main thing. They're like, no, this is what we signed up for. And if they come back in any kind of cameos or anything, they'll work.
I think it'd work for like the big Avenger like the big ones, the big Avengers titles.
Agreed.
It makes sense if let's say Captain America isn't dead, he's in hiding, or Tony is retired, or Thor is retired and now someone else is Thor. It would make sense if they came back as like, oh shit, like Avengers Assembled, I told you I'd be here, kind of like how they are right now.
Agreed. Yeah, but in a more, Thor is busy doing his thing, so somebody else is picking up his hammer and cause and all that. Yeah, Iron Man passes the torch to I don't know, to anybody, like that. Yeah, like
or Riri or something like that. I don't know how they would tie that in, because they didn't do a good job of setting up proteges in their films, I guess.
Not really. No.
Right.
I mean, Spider-Man's really the only like protege they kind of have.
I think he's gonna bite the bucket in the first one, because
Spider-Man?
that would be devastating for Tony. Like his protege, his boy, his almost like a son to him.
Yeah. Okay. So then, what's this? What are
Gauntlet
the Spider-Man?
brings it back. He has the Soul Gem, the Reality Gem. He has everything. The Gauntlet has everything in the ability to kill something and bring it back to life.
Yeah, that's true. But you do run the risk of being a little. And I know I'm saying this, and I'm sorry. You run the risk of being a little too comic booky. Like
right, but I think this is the film that you do that. This is the film, if you're going to kill half the cast, you have the magical weapon that can bring them back. That makes sense in every sense of the word.
That's true.
I don't know. I think that's how they do it, because that's the only way you could do it. Any other, you could make up some comic book way in any other movie, I guess, but I just think to the average audience that would be just mind bending if they walked out of the theater and Spider-Man's dead.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I don't know if they have the balls to do that.
I don't. Well, I'll tell you what. If they can craft a story where that, we're getting into kind of, hell, they've done it in comics. Like,
right.
They killed off Ultimate Spider-Man, and it's...
Well, we know he won't be dead fully, because, of course, he's going to be the first movie after the second part.
Right. But, that's... And there again, does the idea of announcing those ahead of time kind of take that option off the table?
Right.
You could do that with, like, Cap. I think you could do that, and I think that would be the one that packs the biggest punch.
I think you're absolutely right. I think this is... Yeah. And it's a shame, too, because I love Chris Hemsworth as Captain America, but...
Evans.
Sorry, I'm getting all my Chris's mixed up.
Well, there are 3 of them now.
Right, exactly. Oh, man, and that scene at the end of the trailer. Okay, we'll talk about Thor in a little bit, but you've seen the trailer, you saw his eye.
Yeah.
So I guess that's not that big of a spoiler, but I loved the fake out in the Thor trailer, because I'm like, wait a second. The whole trailer, he had his eyes, you know? And I love how they went in and edited it to not spoil it. But, this trailer definitely spoils that, so I won't say how that happens, of course, or anything, but I loved that end scene where he was like, who the hell are you guys?
Yeah.
And you see Chris Pratt with his fucking mustache, and it was fantastic. I wonder how much Guardians is going to be in this movie. We got Thor in that big, I don't know if he's trying to it looks like he's trying to destroy it. That thing in space, that's obviously like Thanos' portal or something.
Yeah.
But I wonder how much the Guardians of the Galaxy are in this film, if they are.
Well, they're they between Gamora and Nebula, like, they want the showdown with Thanos, so they're gonna be there.
Right.
And Drax has a personal score with Thanos too, so it's.
Oh yeah, no, I imagine. Yeah, well, who do you think's gonna be the one to kill him?
I think it's gonna be Adam Warlock, and we haven't seen him yet.
Right? Do you think that? I don't know. I don't know if I'd like that. It makes sense because he's in the comics, and this had a lot to do with him in the comics. But I think it'd be more satisfying if the 3 that have their vengeance somehow were the ones that all like put a sword through him at the same time, like one through the neck, one through the side. I don't know.
Something like that. Yeah, there's so many ways you could do that.
Right. Oh man, this is gonna be so cool. It's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, because we didn't see Ant-Man or Wasp in it, and I know that their film is the only one in between the 2 Avengers movies. Do you think they are gonna be in this, or do you think we're gonna get like a completely different story that leads up to the second part of this movie?
I think they're. God, they do. Yeah. God, Ant-Man and the Wasp is between 3 and 4, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think it's the only one sandwiched in between them.
Interesting. Well, because I don't know. I know that they've got to be in 3. They've got to be.
Right.
And then I don't know. I do not know.
Wait, you mean they're going to be in 3? What do you mean?
I think they're going to be in Infinity War, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if maybe they hold off into the second one, and we see like the lead up into that, or I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't know because it shows her in the outfit and stuff like that, and all the photos for the new Ant-Man movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do you think we're going to get what's his name, Korg, and stuff from Thor? Do you think he's going to be in this?
I don't know.
I hope he is.
I kind of do.
I loved him.
He was great, and that was the best. Like that's one of the best uses of a director in a film I've seen in a long time.
Absolutely.
That was great.
The revolution has begun.
The revolution. Hi, I'm Coke.
I thought it was great.
Like he was perfect. It's God, that whole movie. If you're listening and you haven't seen that movie, go see that movie. What the hell are you waiting for?
Oh yeah, Thor was.
Oh
man,
good.
Thor was brilliant. I fucking loved that movie. I'm gonna go see it again for sure.
It took them. I've seen it twice, and I've seen the end of it. I don't know how many times now.
Oh yeah,
but just it took them. I love the idea that now we've seen that Marvel has its stuff together because it took them. Look, the first Thor was fine, not good, not bad, just fine. A standard because that was still in the period of they're figuring out how to make superhero movies.
Right, exactly.
There was still some of that. Thor: The Dark World was not great. It was that to me was probably the low point of Marvel films. Not terrible, but that one definitely not all that good. And then they come around with Ragnarok and people are going, "Oh, a third Thor movie. The last one was not good. Like, why are you guys doing a third one? We don't want a third one." And they killed it. They absolutely crushed it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, man.
But it's taken them, everything that they've learned along the way to get from the first Thor to now and see how far the movies have come. Imagine what they're gonna do next.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, dude, I can't wait. I know that we're going to one person they said they're introducing in this Avengers movie is Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
She will be in it.
Yeah, and we're gonna get the her movie in I think 2019.
Yeah.
Which is I guess that makes sense. Yeah, 2019, and it will be like a prequel, it'll be like in the 90s or whatever with
Nick Fury will have both
Samuel
his eyes
Jackson.
Too. Yeah.
Do you think he's gonna be in this? He's got to be in one of these.
He has to be. Like he can't not be.
Yeah, I think it'd be a shame if he wasn't in it. I don't know why he wouldn't be. I hope it's not like a money thing. I don't think it would be.
No.
I think Samuel Jackson would be down to do this for pennies. At this point,
I think he's bummed that he hasn't been in it as much as he has. I think he wants to be in as many of the films as he can. I just think it just hasn't worked out that way.
Right. And there's so many times where I'm like, okay, Samuel Jackson's gonna pop up here because S.H.I.E.L.D. could totally be involved in all this.
Right. They've got it figured out. Oh, right. I think I plan on it. Yeah, I'm trying to find... Alright, so what do we have? Okay, because we have... Oh, well, now this is interesting. Yeah, because we have Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, and then the fourth Avengers film, and then Spider-Man Homecoming. Damn.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to announce what's the next phase until after the second Avengers movie, because...
Yeah.
I think Disney is betting that they're going to buy Fox. If they do that, then the entire landscape is going to change.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, my God.
We're going to have the X-Men movies, of course. And it'll be a reboot for sure.
Yeah.
I think that they'd be smart to keep Daredevil. I'm sorry, not Daredevil. Smart to keep Deadpool as is.
Yeah, that's
and
fine.
He can just make jokes about how he's been in all the different universes. That would be just fine.
Yeah, it would be such a... Hey, the last time I was by the last time I went around here, this tower wasn't here.
Oh yeah, and here's the deal: you could totally cast Wolverine as a new actor, and then just have fucking Hugh Jackman show up as old Wolverine. Oh, I'm from another universe.
Right. Or just
it's so easy.
I love the idea of him cameoing in a Marvel film that has Deadpool in it and having him just lose his shit.
Oh yeah,
Like that would be great.
All they could do is have Cable and him pull him out of his universe for a moment, and then bam, they go on an adventure. It could totally be done. I think Hugh Jackman has said that if I come back, it would be once Disney shares the rights or whatever.
Yeah, and it could be serious, like, oh no, it's just him, and they're gonna figure out a way to make it work, or it could be fun. You know, I'm all for like Deadpool and the new Wolverine. Damn it, I do not turn the alarms off on my phone. When, like, I'm all for, see, I'm getting close to something. That's my warning light. Just have him and like the new Wolverine in whatever movie, and every once in a while he keeps kind of ribbing him about, like, you know, aren't you supposed to be shorter or something? You know, just keep poking fun at him, and then like they pass Hugh Jackman or something. Right. And like Deadpool just stops and like grabs him, like, wait a minute, wait a minute, what are you? And he just kind of like shushes him and walks away.
Yes.
Like, that would be great. Like, I would be okay if that was all they went with. I'd be okay with that. Like, that to me would. Oh man.
The possibilities are endless if they buy 20th Century Fox, because then we'd get a Fantastic Four movie where, of course, we would get a new Doom, a correct Doom, because I have faith in Disney. They have not done us wrong.
No.
We would have the correct Galactus, Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer was okay in the other film, but I think that, oh man, it would just be perfect. And now they're setting up the Skrulls and Captain Marvel. Man, it would totally, what's the word? Reinvigorate. It would just totally, I don't know, just moving forward. This would absolutely make it feel like a fresh start.
Yeah.
And that we're going to get something just that we're going to be blown away with, because even though we've seen X-Men, we've seen Fantastic Four, they've been in their pocket universes. They haven't even interacted with each other in their own universes. So, this would be something just so great. Seeing them all, and then, you know, down the road, Avengers 6 or 7 or whatever, have Cap come back, have whoever come back somehow, you know, whatever, comic book it so that they're in it, and have that big film again 10 years down the road.
I'm just thinking of I keep picturing in my head the ultimate storyline with Galactus. Now, I didn't really like kind of what they did with him, because it was it was more like intergalactic locusts that all shared a hive mind, but it was the idea of it brought everyone together. It was kind of Fantastic Four centric, but everybody was pivotal. The Avengers, the X-Men, it was everybody was important. And I think if you're gonna do if you bring Galactus into the universe, I think you could tease it in a Fantastic Four movie, but when he decides to show up and start just clearing house, that's one where you bring everybody.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. Galactus would definitely, the Eater of Worlds. It would totally be that. And I don't know what comic I read it in, but maybe it was the Silver Surfer. I think in Infinity War, he came to Earth to warn Earth about Thanos coming. And like he crashed through Doctor Strange's, just like in the trailer, but instead of the Hulk, I think it was the Silver Surfer, to like warn him of the coming of the Mad Titan. So I don't know, man. All this, it's just what a time to be alive if you're if you're a geek like us. So man, all right. I don't know if we have we've spent like half our show talking about it. Is there anything else you want to say about the trailer? Like I have some theories, and it's popped up all over the internet now about like Black Panther and, you know, a lot of other things. But I don't know if we should talk about it because it might get spoilery.
It's some of that stuff's a little spoilery, but also it maybe not.
Maybe not, yeah. So that's the other thing. We got Black Panther before Avengers that I'm super psyched about, man.
Yeah, I can't. That's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be
February,
so awesome.
right?
Yes.
I think it was like February or March, but man, I'm looking forward to that. I'm using up my MoviePass for sure.
Yeah, give me February 16th.
Awesome.
2 days after Valentine's Day. Oh god, I'm gonna hate working that.
And we got Deadpool during Valentine's Day again, right?
No, please, no, it can't be, because we got it's not. It's March.
Oh, okay.
He's not. Oh, I don't know, because no, it can't be, because that means we're gonna have 50 Shades and Black Panther and Deadpool all on Valentine's Day. No, that can't happen.
Okay, it's going to be on June 1st, 2018.
Oh, hallelujah.
Yeah, because I know the first one was on Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
so I didn't.
Because there wasn't really anything else that year on Valentine's Day.
Right.
But no, 50 Shades pretty much owns Valentine's Day right now. So
they're still making those movies.
There's one more. Yeah, there's one more next year.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into Deadpool 2. Now, I don't know. I did see this.
You
what
saw
did you think of the trailer?
It was I loved it. Like, it was the right kind of irreverent, stupid fun. It was exactly what you want, you know.
Yeah.
And then you got little sprinkles of actual film in there.
Right.
So I'm
good. A lot of cocaine references. Yeah, it was great. It was Deadpool. It was exactly what you think it would be.
Yeah, it was absolutely Deadpool.
Yeah, I loved the poster that they had, the Thanksgiving one with Stan Lee in the background on the photo.
In the paint, like there's like a picture of Stan Lee in this painting of this whole. God, it's so good. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna look it up here, but there's an AMC show out there, Robert Kirkman's Legends or something like that. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I've seen I've seen the ads for it. Yeah.
Yeah. I've watched the Kirby and Stan Lee episode, and I liked it. I really did. I want to watch the rest of them. It's a lot of stuff that we know, obviously, because we talk about this, week in, week out.
Right.
But it's awesome. I imagine for a lot of people who don't know that much about it, and they're not afraid. Like, they jumped into like, hey, Stan Lee. Like, they interview Stan Lee, and they talk about how he gets all the credit. It seems like, where Jack Kirby did not get as much credit, and they kind of dive into that, and like Stan is like, no, he deserves all the credit, the way he drew them, and he was, almost sometimes more of a creator for them than Stan actually was. So I don't know, like, it was really good. It was cool to dive into that time period and just see how it all worked, and how they really had no idea what it was going to be like.
No. Well, I mean, it's the famous story about, Stan was going to quit, and his wife said, well, just draw one for you. And so he did the Fantastic Four, and the rest is history. Like, it's,
yes, exactly.
There was no certainty back then, because there weren't really superheroes. Not really. And,
right.
And, somebody had to do it. And then other people came along and did it arguably better, or at least more prolifically, and some of them worked and some of them didn't. But it's always seeing the genesis of a new thing, or a new genesis, since we're talking about Jack Kirby. I couldn't help it. Watching things like that happen is like, those are stories I want to know. Because it's fascinating. It really is. Yeah.
So, like, episode 2 is called The Truth About Wonder Woman, and it kind of dives into her past and, the creator and everything else. The third one is The Trials of Superman, and it goes through about, like, it goes over the trials and tribulations the creators have even after, doing it. One of the creators couldn't go. He didn't have enough money to go see the movie when it came out.
Yeah.
And how they were treated. Until recently, until I think one of them. They're both passed away now, but it wasn't until recently that their families and whatnot got a lot of their money. Rightfully so. For the rights and stuff like that. The fourth episode is about what happened in the comic book industry after 9/11, because obviously a lot of these heroes, they take place in a real New York City, and just it talks about how it changed the industry and how superheroes and whatnot were portrayed. And the fifth episode is called The Color of Comics, and it's about the rise and fall of Milestone Comics, an African-American owned comic book imprint, which came to life in the early 90s in New York. So like your heroes like Static Shock and whatnot came from that. So they're very interesting. I've only seen the first one. I want to watch the rest of these, because that's the kind of content that I want to see.
Yeah. How DC did Siegel and Schuster is their cardinal sin. Like, that's the one thing out of, because every everybody has them, and some people argue what happened with Bill Finger falls under that same category,
Right.
and it's, I just, I'm glad we now live in a world where that kind of thing is harder to sweep under the rug.
Right.
But
Yeah. Well, let's move on. Did you see that they casted Mulan for the live action movie?
yeah, Liu Yifei, which I'm probably messing up. She was in the Forbidden Kingdom, which
You did
was
much better than I would have.
But yeah, awesome. They cast. It's weird to sit here and say, "Yay, they cast an actual Chinese person," but it's still a thing we have to worry about.
Yeah, I think it's now they're very aware of the backlash that the studios are going to get.
As well, they should be. Like, this is a movie about what happened in olden day China, so the cast should be Chinese. Like, I mean, that's just.
I think Disney is definitely the studio that. It's the biggest right now, right? So it is the studio that has to be the shining light.
Yes. Yes.
It's so much so that if you look at like the cast of The Lion King that takes place in Africa, you have a lot of African Americans in it. I think they're very aware of stuff like that. Look at Black Panther. 90% of the film is African American or whatnot. That I think they do that for it's a shining light, I guess is what I'm trying to say, that other studios really need to pay attention to.
Yeah, enough with whitewashing and all that shit. It's just, it's done. Like, there's, I mean, we can and will go on at length about this because it will happen again and again and again, probably for who knows how long. But there's just, there's no point to it anymore. And, especially in the case of something like this, there are like 3 white guys in the cast of The Lion King, and it's Timon, Pumbaa, and Zazu, and I have no problem with any of that because
I mean, look at the Star Wars movie. The 3 top leads for it right now for the new one is female, a black male, and Hispanic.
Yeah,
and that's perfect. Like it's just I think Disney is leading the charge with that stuff. They've obviously had their problems in the past, but I think they have the ability to make the change and be the change, and other little studios like whoever's doing the Hellboy, they slipped up. Like, I think a lot of those other studios are like, oh, like we need to change this moving forward.
Agreed.
Because awesome. Man, didn't they say they're not going to have the singing in this, though?
Yeah, I think they said there won't be songs, and that's a bummer. Because, I mean, come on. Mulan had one of the greatest Disney songs ever.
Oh, yeah.
But,
absolutely. Lion King better have it, or I'll riot. Oh, yeah. So, new the Captain Marvel movie, Jude Law is going to play Mar-Vell.
Yeah, because Jude Law isn't busy enough being in Fantastic Beasts 2. Like,
is it messed up that I saw the picture and I go, wait, is that the Vision?
There are some similarities. There are, but
I think it's perfect casting, though.
Yeah, no, I dig it. I definitely dig it.
Yeah, I'm excited for Captain Marvel. I hope somehow I know they're going to hint at Miss Marvel in it and set that up, because that would be really cool.
I hope so. I really do.
I would love a Miss Marvel series on Hulu now, because I'll talk about The Runaways in a little bit. I've watched the first episode, and it is so good.
Nice.
I've never read The Runaways, so I don't know anything about it. So a lot of things were really surprising that happens. I don't know how much you know about The Runaways.
Not really much at all, either.
I went in blind, and maybe I should not talk about this week. I don't know if you can get around to seeing it in the next week or so. Maybe we'll talk about it next week or in 2 weeks or whatever, but try and seek it out, because oh my god, I'll give you my Hulu information if you don't have Hulu, but oh my god, it is so good so far. I was shocked at how
nice.
Because I think when we see things are this is gonna be on Netflix, it's fantastic, stuff like that. Hulu, I still am not on board with as a platform for original content, but I was shocked.
Yeah, because what if they had they had 11 whatever the Stephen King thing, and then they had Handmaid's Tale. That was them, right? Not Amazon.
I'm not sure.
I think that was also Hulu. I think, but they've had a lot of stuff that's just kind of flopped.
I've always thought of Hulu as okay, that's that platform that if I don't have a DVR, it's kind of perfect for me.
Right, exactly. It's still more of an aggregate. It's still more like catching up with stuff than it is for original content. But I'm glad they're changing that. I'm glad they're turning that around. That's awesome.
One thing that was annoying is they drop 3 episodes and then they go week by week. I don't think I like that.
Well, there's.
You know what? The other thing that I liked from Hulu.
What's up?
No, was that Amazon? Was it the oh man, this is gonna bother me. The JFK assassination with what's his face? Oh, James Franco. 11 something.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I think that was Hulu.
Okay. Okay, so you know what? I just remembered that now, and so yeah, great stuff. So there's 4 or 5 episodes by the time you see it that are out on it. So
cool, very cool.
It's really good. Yeah, I haven't watched any television really for months now, and starting this week, I'm like, okay, everything's been back for a few weeks.
Nice.
Time to catch up. So,
yeah. The last time I ever watched anything on TV was the Steelers game this past week.
Yeah, no, I've kind of, I'm a Packers fan. I love my team.
Mm-hmm.
Without Rodgers, it's really hard to watch.
I'll tell you what, though. That new kid is impressive.
He's great. He's
damn good.
I still watch. Don't get me wrong. I still watch, but I'm not as excited like I am every other season,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he's definitely good. Someone's going to be picking him up, I think.
It could be the Giants. Who knows?
It could absolutely be the Giants.
God,
yeah. Man, Jesus,
and
what happened?
Who I feel really bad for is Geno Smith, who just kind of got thrown into all this. I love Geno because he was a Mountaineer. He was a West Virginia quarterback, and he was amazing. And he was with the Jets for a while, and they never really used him. And now he's getting his moment and just getting completely shit on because of what they've done to Eli. And I feel so bad for him.
No, I agree. I just had a funny picture in my head because when you said Mountaineer, I immediately thought of Call of Duty, and I thought of him in that sniper outfit. Wait, he's Canadian? Oh man, that's such a fun game. But yeah, no, yeah, I completely agree. He's got that whole situation just sucks.
Yeah, unless he goes out and puts on a Hall of Fame performance this weekend, there's no way he's getting out of this at all.
Where do you think Eli goes? Do you think he goes to Jacksonville or something?
I don't know, man.
Cleveland? Probably not Cleveland, but I imagine Jacksonville or something like that.
Dallas might come calling. Who knows?
Dallas, yeah, no, you're right. But yeah, no, I need to catch up on Star Trek because I really like the first 2 episodes of that. Orville, I'm behind on. The CW shows, it's getting a bit too much with television.
Yeah,
because we went so long without watching it, I got used to it.
Yeah, I gotta tell you this story real quick. I was at my delivery job. What was this, 2-3 days ago? No, Monday. It was on Monday night, and we've got a cook there who's a huge Star Trek fan, massive old school, hates the new movies, just exactly that kind of picture. Okay, fine. We've got a new manager there who came in, and he looks like a kind of shaved lumberjack. Just to give you that picture in your head, so that when I tell you that they started arguing about Star Trek, in-depth, hardcore, at a con level Star Trek discussion, I took a delivery across town, came back, they're still standing in the same spot in the kitchen having that same discussion. And I was like, funny. I've never seen this in real life. I was so excited because I've never actually seen it, and neither of these two look like Star Trek fans. And that really, I always like that when I see somebody arguing or debating geeky stuff who does not look like your standard geek. I love that more than anything. and these two go at it. I just kind of stood back, and our GM was there at the time, and he just kind of looked at me shaking his head like, can you believe this shit? And I told him, when they were finally done, I had to tell both of them, I was like, guys, I've been to Statesville Comic-Con twice. I've hung out at really awesome comic book stores, and I host a geek podcast. That was by far the single geekiest experience of my life, was to stand here and watch this. But it was awesome. I loved it. But I had to tell that story because I was like, I've never actually seen this like out in the wild before. It was great.
Hell yeah, man. I love those conversations. Kind of makes me miss, because I work from home now, so it kind of makes me miss working in like an office or around people, because that's exactly the conversation. There's so many things that I got into that I would have never gotten into, like Doctor Who and stuff like that, because I worked with someone who was like in the cubicle to the back of me. It was the only person I could see. Like, I turned my seat around because my cubicle, it was nice. We had big ones where it was just us by ourselves, but behind me there was someone in a cubicle across the aisle or whatever, and he was a giant nerd, but he was English. And he just everything was Doctor Who, and I was like, you know what? I gotta give it a shot. And you talked about it and everything else too, so that helped, of course. But yeah, so like I was introduced to a lot of things that I would have never given the time of day, and we would sit there and argue about Star Wars. Not argue, but we would be like, we would just be like, well, what do you think? This was, I don't know, back when, the Disney just bought the rights and stuff like that. So we were just like running like, what could be in the next movie, and like it was so much fun to do that. So I kind of miss that. I'm just by myself. It's hard to chat with people and have that same kind of interaction. But yeah, man. All right, so where are we at, dude? Because we're still on movies. We got Gambit's coming out. Lizzie Kaplan from Masters of Sex is joining in an unannounced role.
Yeah, cool. Okay, neat.
Awesome.
They're still making that movie. Okay.
Oh yeah. Your boy James Franco is rumored to star in the Multiple Man movie.
This was if you had told me this was going to happen 10 years ago, where James Franco is going to star in a Multiple Man movie, and I'm going to sit there and go, wait, that means there's going to be like a bunch of James Francos all on the screen at one time, like I would have screamed myself to sleep. Like that was like 10 years ago, that would have been my nightmare. Like that would have been my idea of hell, of like starring James Franco, co-starring James Franco, executive produced by James Franco.
I think this is just because he's been adamant, like, hey, I want to be Multiple Man. So I think that got the studio and everybody like, oh, okay, we like you. Yeah, it'd be cool to see like an X Factor movie, because I think a lot of people, that's the best like X Factor, or that's the best Multiple Man stuff, is because he was like the leader of X Factor for a very long time.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool. We got Brett Ratner not involved in the sequel, so that's cool.
Yep. No Brett in Wonder Woman 2.
Yep. That was a far gone. I can't talk.
It better have been a foregone conclusion. Yeah.
When she came out and said, yeah, it's either him or me.
Yeah. Interestingly, though, they came out and said that didn't influence their decision, though.
Of course.
That it was that his actions had, like, they were like, it was just they were gonna do that anyway, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure they probably had to legally say something like that.
I'm sure they did too.
Yeah, I'm sure they were probably like, okay, you're walking. That's a foregone conclusion, but let's make a deal where we don't make this about your nastiness.
Right.
Detective Pikachu. Big Pikachu. Jesus, I can't talk tonight. Did I say Pikachu?
I love Lord. A little bit there, yeah.
All right. Wait, no, I skipped one. Okay, sorry. Shazam. Mark Strong in talks to play the antagonist, Dr. Savannah. Sorry about that. Did you ever read any Shazam comics?
Very little. I know a bit about his story. Like, he took his family and moved to Venus or Mercury or something.
Did not know that.
And came back and like hated Shazam. Like that's the extent of my knowledge on this. I
don't know anything about him. I always thought Black Adam was this big bad guy, but apparently this guy was like the most dangerous or something.
It's the thing of like old Lex Luthor versus new Brainiac. Kind of when you're looking at Superman, of like,
there you go.
Everybody looks at like, oh, it's this villain, but if you go back, people are like, oh no, it's this villain kind of thing.
Oh yeah. Well, one thing I learned from that Superman thing. Remember we were talking about the. Sorry, I know I'm jumping here, but the AMC show about the legends and whatnot.
Yeah.
The Superman stuff. One thing that came to a surprise for me is that the creators. I knew that they were scrawny geeks and they found each other through their love of comics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they got picked on and made fun of by bigger dudes, and they wanted to make a comic about how the Supermen were coming to Earth and they were the bad guys, and they realized it didn't work. And their Superman looked exactly like Lex Luthor, like a buff Lex Luthor, bald and everything. And I forgot what was the turning point. Something made them change their mind, and they were like, well, wait a second. What if they use their power for good, and they were the good guys?
Yeah.
And that's when they changed it, and they made it Superman as we know today. So that was interesting. What you just said kind of reminded me of that, of the Lex Luthor stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess we're getting Black Adam in
Suicide Squad 2.
Suicide Squad. I was thinking Stranger Things the whole time, and I'm like, that is not the right thing to say.
I don't know. We may see The Rock in Stranger Things. Hell, I don't know anymore.
I would love that. He just popped up randomly. There's a cameo in Thor that I'm not going to ruin. That
it's magnificent, isn't it?
Delighted me.
It's so. Is that not? Because I know I kind of hinted at it when we talked. Is that not just beautiful? It's so good.
It took me by surprise. I was like, that is great. I didn't see John Cena. I need to go see it again to see what the hell.
He's not.
And then I kept thinking, like, did I ever see that he was going to be in that movie, or did I just like make that up in my head?
It was rumored at one point, but he's not in it.
Oh, okay, because that would have been great.
Yeah.
I thought he might have been in that scene that we're talking about.
He wasn't. Yeah. I think they kind of thought about it, but they for what they wound up not including him, which whatever.
Makes sense. Yeah.
You want to take another stab at this, or you want me to do it?
You can do it real fast. Someone was sitting next to me that came back from the bathroom during that scene and was like, "What? What did I just miss?" They thought, like,
oh
what?
Man,
am I on drugs?
Yeah, if you missed the setup to that, that's beautiful.
Yeah. And imagine all the other characters in that scene and how they're acting, and they're like, wait a second, why were they acting like that?
Oh man!
But did I just walk into a spoof movie? Like, what's going on?
Oh, that's magnificent. Oh man!
Yeah, it was one of the only times that I did not mind someone talking, because it made me and girls would just laugh so much. I was like, oh my god, are you kidding me?
Oh, that's so good.
But but man, yes, you go ahead and take the next one.
So Detective Pikachu has a couple people now. Justice Smith from The Get Down is said to star in the film. Now, it's interesting, they don't say whether or not that means he's going to be the voice of Pikachu. It just says star in the film. And Catherine Newton from Big Little Lies is going to play the female lead. Her name will be Lucy, and she's going to be a journalist.
Okay.
So
Well, why would they get a different voice for Pikachu?
I don't know.
I mean, we've heard Pikachu be the Pikachu. Like, do you think it's like... Well, I think if they were going to make it jokey funny, they would have went with, like, Danny DeVito, like the big meme.
But, I mean, here's the thing, because, like, now he talks. So,
doesn't make any sense. Just do away with this film.
I'm with you. Like, this is fine as a Japanese thing, like, because they make weird shit all the time. So fine, that's good for them. It fits that market. It does not fit a global market. I just
hate that this is the first live action Pokemon movie we're getting, and it's Detective fucking Pikachu.
Yeah.
This is the Dark Universe or something.
I agree, Max.
It's the Dark Timeline. Yeah. Yep, exactly. Let's see here. So Sony got the distribution rights for the next Quentin Tarantino film.
Yeah, because he had to go somewhere.
Right.
His deal was with the Weinsteins, and even Quentin saying, nope, gotta do something else.
Big win for Sony. They need some franchises. So
yeah.
There you go. The Quentin Tarantino always does good on DVD market.
Hell yeah, he does. Like the box office, not stellar, but his movies last. People will buy his movies on home video forever.
Oh yeah, man, they're still buying them.
Yeah.
Did you see the trailer for Rampage?
I saw it before Justice League, and I was in there with one of the dudes from the theater, and he's sitting there like a couple rows back from me, and I know it's him because about halfway through the middle of this trailer, I hear him just kind of, to nobody in particular, go, "Is this fucking Rampage?"
Yeah.
And as soon as he said that, I was like, oh shit, because I hadn't put two and two together, and I had totally forgot that this was a thing.
Oh, wow, really?
I had completely forgotten it, and so I'm watching this, and I'm like, what am I watching? Because like, there's something in the back of my head. What, you didn't know about the 30-foot wolf? And I'm like, why does this seem familiar? But I didn't have a clue until finally I hear from back there, is this fucking Rampage? I was like, oh shit, that's right, this is a thing.
And Lizzie at the end, they hinted.
Oh, great, I was just thinking what we need now is a gigantic lizard.
Yep. Do you think The Rock becomes gigantic in the movie?
I hope not. I mean, he's big enough, man. Dude's the size of a house already. Like,
right. That'd just be great. Yeah, so I mean, I'm just so glad I got this MoviePass.
Yeah.
Because that's a film I might not have seen in the theater, but yeah, I'm definitely seeing it now.
Now you will. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're gonna get to know me at the movie theater. Avatar, some Avatar news. James Cameron says if Avatar 2 and 3 bomb, there won't be an Avatar 4 and 5.
Okay, so we know there won't be an Avatar 4 and 5 now because 2 and 3 are gonna tank.
Right, yeah. So I mean, this is like a no shit. Like,
yeah.
Obviously they're not gonna let you do 4 and 5 if your movie's bomb.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be hard. Like, what do they bombing? Like, he would have to sell a lot of tickets for those to bomb, or for those to not bomb, because those are some really fucking expensive movies that he's making.
Yeah, they're what, like $250 million a piece? Like,
yeah, and if Justice League can't do it, right now, I don't know how. Yeah,
nobody cares enough about Avatar 2. They just
don't.
It
was a different time.
Yeah, it's not going to be amazing. Now, if people come out of this movie going, holy shit, that was really good, Avatar 3 will do better. But that's not what's going to happen. People are going to come out of that going, it was Avatar again. Like, But there won't, no. I made my bold, 10-year prediction on this, so I'm good.
It came out the year after Marvel started their cinematic universe.
Yeah, and by the time Marvel wraps up their big plan for their first decade of their universe, we're gonna get a second Avatar movie.
It's crazy to think about.
That's insane. That's just madness.
Yeah. Murder on the Orient Express, Death on the Nile, another Agatha Christie novel to be adapted as a follow-up.
Yeah. Because evidently Murder did really good. And I haven't
There's another
seen it
one
yet.
I'm going to see. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see it. That and Wonder are my next two that I really want to see.
What's Wonder about?
Wonder is about the kid with the weird face, and it's him. It's a movie about the weird kid out, basically. And it looks cool. It's Owen Wilson and I forget who else is in it, but it's
Julia Roberts.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. But it's it's about this kid who, he's got a physical deformity, but that doesn't make him any, he's not really different except that he looks different and he has to be brave and all that stuff. It's that kind of movie, but I like those.
Gotcha.
I like heartwarming stories like that. I enjoy them.
Absolutely. Yeah, man, there's so many movies that I'm just would not come across me to go spend, $13 or $14 on in the theater, that I'm gonna now be like, yeah, that looks great, just like I would on Netflix or something now.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Let's jump into some TV news. Black Lightning series to debut on Tuesday, January 16th at 9 p.m.
Yeah. So
big mistake by not putting them in the CW universe.
Maybe. We'll see.
Giant mistake.
But here's the thing. I think that it's open to that possibility down the road.
They better do it, dude, because when the whole time watching not the whole time, but after watching the Crisis on Earth X. They have a commercial for it, and I was like, well, that'd be great if he interacted with all these people, but because he doesn't, it makes me less interested. I don't know what that says about me. I don't know if that makes me weird, but it's the same way I think of when I see like the XMen movies and stuff. There is something less about it because it's not included in this big spanning universe. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
I know I'm weird about that. I'm sure I'm not the only person who thinks like that.
No, probably not.
It makes me. I wish it was a part of it because I want to care more about that character. I don't know that much about him to begin with.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense why he's not a part of it, because he would be an awesome inclusion in these big spin-off, things. Same way about Supergirl. She needed to be involved with it for me to. I really cared way more about her and her show and everything else when it was included.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm weird. I know I'm weird, but
I mean, it makes sense. I'm okay with the idea of like, hey, look, this thing isn't dependent on all the other shows.
No. It doesn't have to be dependent. It can be its own thing. But I love knowing that it's shared. Kind of like if they did a Sabrina the Teenage Witch show or whatever, and it's not involved with Archie.
It's not.
What?
It's it just got. We're gonna jump ahead a little bit because it's actually here. Interestingly, it's got a 2-season, 20-episode direct-to-series order on Netflix.
But it's a spin-off. It's in the same universe.
It is, but you're not gonna see crossover. I don't think.
That's okay. I told you I'm weird.
Yeah.
I just want it in the same universe.
Well, I think that Black Lightning is gonna take place in the same universe. I just think
it does though.
I think it.
You know what I mean? Like it's like saying Gotham takes place in the same universe as Arrow.
That's okay. But I think with them being on the same network, I think they kind of have to.
They have to, right?
Yeah, I think it's just the idea of like they don't want people to think they're gonna see a lot of crossover with that show.
It's real simple. All they have to do is have, just like they do with Supergirl. Like she literally has a button that Cisco made for her that allows her to jump between the worlds like nothing. Yeah. I don't know. I'm weird. I wish it was. And yeah, that kind of sucks about the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I'm still gonna watch it, just like I'm gonna watch back Black Lightning and see what it's all about.
I am so excited because this is on Netflix. Because now I know it's gonna be horror as fuck. And I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure.
Because I mean, the comic was, because I mean, this is all kind of spinning off a little bit from Archie of the Dead, which was very, it showed that Sabrina backstory was very Lovecraftian.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in, man. If this is as close as we get to like mainstream. Any kind of like main big budget kind of Lovecraft stuff, I'm down. Let's do it. Like let's get proper crazy with it. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I completely agree with you.
Yeah,
I can't wait for it. I want that shit in it too. Harley Quinn, DC reportedly developing an adult-oriented animated series featuring her. The company wants Margot Robbie to reprise the role, so that's cool.
Yeah, she's working on a third Harley Quinn spinoff too, apparently. Like, because she has her movie, and then there's Gotham City Sirens, and then apparently she's going to be working on another one.
Yeah. I liked, what was it, Tara Smith
Tara Strong.
Strong, yeah. I liked her voice acting. I like her as the voice actor of it, but I guess that would be a big get to get Robbie for it. So
well, they're trying to do some synergy in ways that isn't coherent with anything because it's whatever. Yeah. I almost want AT&T to buy Time Warner just to maybe bring some of that sense together. Can we talk about that for a second? That's a terrible idea.
Oh yeah.
Like just I know there's a lot of politics involved in some of this shit, but throw all that aside. The idea of AT&T, who owns DirecTV, buying up Time Warner, which owns Warner Brothers and DC and HBO, this is a bad idea. This is very bad
I think the
idea.
government would stop it. Who knows now? But
because they're coming at it from the idea of like it's antitrust, so you can have it, but you have to sell CNN because that's the important thing apparently. But this is just bad. Like AT&T is bigger now than it was when they broke it up 30 some years ago.
Right, yeah, that's the crazy thing.
Yeah, and they've just bought back all their old shit, and then they bought everybody else's shit too.
Right, yeah, it's getting crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. But
oh man,
I don't want DirecTV to own HBO because DirecTV is garbage.
Right, yeah, exactly.
They don't. Oh, when I go to Walmart, they have a DirecTV table there. They pointedly don't talk to me. Because they all have made that mistake once. Because we used to have DirecTV in Florida, which was a nightmare. And then we had DirecTV at my delivery job here, and it was a nightmare. And they know better than to talk to me now, because I will chew them up in front of everybody, because DirecTV is just garbage.
It is straight garbage. It's
like, oh wait,
man, especially in Florida, like with the clouds and the rain.
Because that's it. Like up here, if it got cloudy, we lost our signal. Wow. I cannot deal with that shit. Are you kidding me? Like if you're like, but our dishes are so much better. No, they're not. You're lying. You're full of crap.
They always say that. Well, now that's all changed. Our technology, you get it 99.9% of the time. Bullshit. No. I don't know anyone with DirecTV that is not miserable because they can't get their service.
The only people who have it worse than DirecTV customers are people who have Dish.
Right. Exactly.
Because Dish is just budget DirecTV, which is like
you're missing half the channels.
yeah, basically.
Just don't want to work with them anymore.
Yeah. But.
Mystery Theater 3000, the return Netflix new show for another season.
Yeah, so technically it's season 12 of the show, but it's the second season of the revived show. I don't know. We're getting more, so that's awesome. I'm very happy about it.
Sweet. Seth Meyers to host award show on January 7th, for the Golden Globes.
Yeah, okay, sure, whatever. I don't really care.
Cool. Let's get into some loot box news.
Boy, this was a bad month to be EA, wasn't it?
Oh my god.
And they decided that they're gonna do the same shit with UFC 3 that they stopped doing with Battlefront 2.
Yep. Yeah, it's
oh boy,
it's so egregious apparently in UFC. Like you can buy. I watched Jim Sterling's video on it because he's been really nailing it home to them. I hate EA more than everything they've ever done because they've put me on the same side of an issue as Jim Sterling. I hate EA forever for that, but thank God for Jim Sterling.
Look. Kidding. I will rally behind the banner. I will put my personal shit aside because this is important. Right. This is a big deal.
Right, yeah. Regardless of what you think about Jim Sterling, he at least doesn't have a dog in the fight, so he's for the consumer, always for the consumer.
Yeah.
He has crazy opinions about games and stuff, but when it comes to stuff like this, it's fuck EA, fuck Konami, and... what's his other one? He says, "Oh, Ubisoft." He has phrases for all these companies. And yeah, just fuck EA. So they pulled if you haven't been aware, they pulled the microtransactions from Battlefront 2 in a means that we have never seen before. I don't think from another company where the entire game, if you haven't played Battlefront 2, revolves around progression revolves around getting loot boxes. So you could play. The Galactic Battlegrounds or whatever it's called for 10 minutes or however long it takes. And if you do pretty decent, because I usually get right in the middle or towards the top, you get about 300 credits. And it's like 2,000 credits to get a loot crate. So you gotta play like 4 or 5 games to just get a box that will give you 3 items. That might be things that you've already gotten. In these boxes, they're not just cosmetic items. They are items that fundamentally change the way you play the game, gives you boosts, like, your grenade. And there's 3 different levels of them. So, like, let's say you get a card. There's 3 different levels of the card. And so it might take you forever to even level up. Like, let's say you play one specific class. In other games, like Call of Duty, when you play that one specific class, like infantry, you build up that class. You build up those perks. You build up those guns. In Star Wars, that's not how it works. It's basically the amount of time you play, depending on how good you do during the match, you get credits. And after that, you save up 15,000 credits, you unlock the ability to play as Vader. Which is crazy. And so what they did is, before the game came out, well, I guess technically the game was out, because it was out on a Monday. No. I'm sorry, it was out on a Tuesday for anyone who got the $80 version. And you could buy loot boxes. So you could buy 100 loot boxes. And on the other end, just an FYI, the people that bought the loot boxes, like IGN and stuff, just to kind of see what it's like,
Yeah.
they said it was all garbage. So the people who bought the loot boxes got screwed as well.
Gee, there's a surprise.
Yeah, it was all like gray items and low-level items, so it wasn't even worth it for them. So the hours before the game launched on midnight, Thursday night, going into Friday, apparently Bob Iger got on the phone with EA and said, fix this.
Yeah,
fix this now.
That's how bad that is. Disney, the guy at Disney, got on the phone and said, you're fucking up what we, I know there had to be an undercurrent to that conversation of how much do you like having this license?
Oh, that's been reported that they threatened to pull the licensing if EA did not fix this now.
I still say they should.
They should absolutely 100% pull it, because I'd love to see other companies tackle Star Wars. You know what I mean? Bethesda, like Ubisoft, like any other company, I would love to see them. Capcom, like I'd love to see other companies kind of play in those universes. And that means we would also get multiple games a year.
Yeah.
Different kinds of games. Ravensoft, like I would love Ravensoft did Jedi Knight 2. Like I would love to see these other companies. Activision, the Call of Duty guys.
I just have one thing I want to say. Naughty Dog Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's
Blizzard,
it. That's
it'd be crazy. You're right, Naughty Dog. Well, hey, guess what? We almost got a Naughty Dog Star Wars game, but it didn't have loot crates in it, so they didn't think it was viable.
Yeah, how about that? So now we may be going back to revisit that a little bit, especially with their CFO, Blake Jorgenstern, who's always... It always seems like every time I see his name, it's because he stuffs his leg in his mouth. He doesn't stop at his foot. Like, he goes all the way up to his knee. He said, and I want to read this quote, because he's talking about why they took the Star Wars game from Visceral and shut it down. And he said, and I quote, "As we kept reviewing the game, it continued to look like a much more linear game, which people don't like as much today as they did 5 years ago or 10 years ago." And I wanted to add a little thing here. On an unrelated note, Uncharted 4 sold 9.5 million copies. So just... I mean, for the love of God, how stupid can you be? Just because... I mean, yes, Destiny is huge. These games with multiplayer components are huge. But that doesn't mean that the single-player, straightforward story game has gone. I know we have the big open world, I mean, my God, GTA 5 Online is still a huge community. I get it. Super Mario Odyssey sold like crazy, and it is a single-player game. I don't understand this line of thinking. Oh, wait, yes, I do, because what they're saying is we can only sell them this game once. That's the line of thinking, and that's,
And Jim Sterling, in one of his recent videos, talked about how EA told their investors they weren't going to lose any money by pulling the boxes. So in their own words, they admitted, now who knows, that's obviously not true, but they said, we will not lose in our return on this game. So what does that really mean? So it's all profit for that.
Yeah.
But guess what? They lost $3 billion in stock value.
Yeah, but here's the bitch of the thing. That's just over this month. They lost $3.1 billion in stock over the course of November. They are still up for the year.
Right.
That's what sucks, and that's why they're not going to stop. Because while they took a big hit, they've still they've still so far this year made money.
Yeah.
And until, I'm serious, man, I want Disney to get back on the phone and just say, you know what, after further review, fuck you guys. Just
right. They have a movie coming out in a month and a few weeks and
in 2
all
weeks.
of this. They have Forbes and CNN and Fox and all of these companies, all of these news outlets reporting on Star Wars and gambling to children.
Yes, that's, oh my god, the PR behind this. That's why I think Disney just eventually cuts ties with them, because
Belgium.
Exactly
Australia.
that. I mean, they're trying to do something here. One of the
Hawaii. The state of Hawaii had a press conference, which I didn't think was real.
Yeah.
It straight up looked like a Saturday Night Live skit, because the guy who came out on stage and was like, "I'm a gamer." They picked the guy looked sweaty. He looked like he just did a bunch of coke.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, guys, they picked the wrong guy to do that." But I thought it was a joke, but it wasn't. It was for real. They came out and were like, "Hey, they brought up people on stage that were like the gambling committee. I guess people that were like, "Hey, we want gambling in certain places, and this is bad. This is gambling, and it's to your children, and that's the last thing Disney wants."
You know what we have to have here is like what happened with ratings way back in the day, because this is getting to the point now where the government is going to step in and say, "All right, you guys can't handle your shit."
Well, this is where it gets interesting. Did you see that they tried to come up with that?
Yeah, and it didn't quite work because there's not actually a payout.
No, there's apparently an organization. This is all in Jim Sterling's videos.
Okay.
I guess I should have it up. There is an organization that has come out and said, we're basically going to be that committee for games.
Okay.
But it gets weird. It gets really weird. The people that are involved are like, I don't know. Watch the video. Go look at the Jim Sterling video about this organization,
right?
National something or another, and he dives into it, and it just gets weirder and weirder. And they're like, "No, this isn't going to work. Who are these people to say what EA can and can't put in their games? They're not going to
exactly.
They're not going to listen to these."
Yeah.
These group of people who are just like one day, we're part of the committee, and everyone listen to us now. It's not going to work like that.
No, and it's, if it becomes a government regulated thing, it's going to kill indie studios. It's gonna ruin gaming, and they knew this back in the day. That's why the publishers and developers got together and decided, all right, fine. When it comes to content and all this stuff, we've got to have something, and that's how we got the ESRB. And it works. We may not always like it, we may not always agree with it, but it was either that or we have actual legislative oversight, which is just not going to work. We are here again. We are right back here, because if they don't figure this shit out, if Ubisoft and Sony and Microsoft and everybody else doesn't sit down with EA and have a nice little, we call this meeting of the five families to order kind of thing, then we're gonna have a big problem.
Well, it's all about greed, and this is something that Total Biscuit and Jim Sterling, they sounded crazy at first when Overwatch came out, and they were like, "No, this is not good." I get it, it's all cosmetic stuff, but we give these people an inch, they're going to take the whole field.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened is Activision, yes, they had loot boxes in their game, and when you progress you can unlock loot boxes, but it's all cosmetic. Nothing was game breaking to where you're the point where it made it pay to win.
Yeah.
EA fucking stumbled over themselves to do just that. And now it's such egregious, like UFC, where the entire progression system is for loot boxes, and you get new moves and stuff like that. I like how they compared it to if you got Street Fighter and Chun-Li, her kick, if you got a loot box that gave you a kick 4 times more powerful, how fucking stupid would that be? And it was funny because in the video he's like, he goes, Capcom, I'm not saying this as something you should do, so please just keep that in mind. I'm not suggesting you do this because that would be bollocks or whatever. Yeah. He's like, but that's the idea, is that EA stumbled over themselves to make it so egregious and they're targeting children. It's Star Wars, for Christ's sake. It's a family-friendly franchise.
Yeah.
The biggest on the planet. They don't have to do this. And it would have never gotten mainstream news if it was all cosmetic stuff. That's the other side of this coin, by the way. EA's trying to say that they weren't allowed to do any cosmetic loot box changes. They come out and said that, and immediately someone data mined the game and said, bullshit, we found that you are eventually going to unlock the ability to change the races of these classes to Twi'lek and whatever. And then like it's just they basically using it as an excuse to why we did it this way and did not make it cosmetic.
Yeah.
Apparently they're saying it's Disney's fault. So this is going to be a fun back and forth between them two, I think.
Yeah, I really do just want this to end with Disney going, nope, we're taking this back. You guys
Yep.
You guys
I'm
did
out of their contract.
Yeah, you guys did irreparable damage, and Disney doesn't play with this shit. Disney is notorious, and this is the only time or one of the very rare times where people would look at Disney and say, "All right, do your thing," because they play no games.
No, and I was sitting around, I was thinking, this has been one of the best year for video games, right?
Yeah.
Where's all the superhero games? Where is all the Star Wars games? It sucks that these major franchises we're not getting shit for.
Yeah.
And it sucks that Disney. That's one thing Disney's dropping the ball with that they really gotta figure out, because they've dropped the ball now with Star Wars, the video games. No single player games. Like fucking take that shit from EA immediately, and be smart about who you do a deal with. Like if you talk to Naughty Dog and do a Star Wars game, great.
Do it.
Go to another studio like the guys who are doing Call of Duty and do a deal where they make 2 Star Wars shooters. Or you know what I mean? Go to studios that know what they're doing.
Do it.
Make good deals.
Yeah.
Don't do this shit with EA where they get all the rights and that's it.
Yeah,
That's fucking bullshit.
Do it by you have to do this piecemeal, because some studios are better at some things than others. They just are. Naughty Dog will not make a Destiny game. It'll never happen, because that's not what they do. So you have to take into account different studios have different identities. And the idea, I guess, was that EA owns a bunch of different studios with different identities, but at the end of the day, it's still EA. I'm with you, man. I think they say, all right, we want to hear pitches from different studios and work with it from there, because there is extraordinary potential out there.
Yeah.
But
and did you see what? Just real fast, did you see what the Bungie's been in the mess? The shit they stepped in.
Oh, what
these last 2 weeks?
Oh, what happened now?
Okay, so with Destiny 2, every time you level up, you get a bright engram, right?
Right.
After 20, you get a bright engram.
Right. Yeah.
Destiny has been throttling the XP you get to the next level.
Oh no.
To the point where they were lying to you about how much XP you were getting.
Oh Christ.
They were throttling it by like 95%. So essentially, if you played the game more over time, you would gain
less.
You would just get a quarter of what you were supposed to get.
Nah.
And so it would pop up on the screen saying you're getting a certain amount, and it was a complete lie.
Oh, that's
because they want you to buy bright engrams.
Yeah, because I mean, even me, like once I hit past 20, I was getting bright engrams fairly regularly. And so I would imagine some of these people would have just shelves of these things.
Well, they're punishing players for playing longer, which makes no fucking sense.
That's exactly what they're doing. They are punishing people who are putting the time into this game. And that's because if they're putting in the time and they're putting in the effort, then they're unlocking stuff instead of just buying it. And that's
if one more studio comes out and says, "We hear you, we're listening," fuck off with that shit. Just change it.
Just fix it. I'm so sick and tired of "we're listening to the fan base." No, you're not. No, you are.
You know what they did?
What did
they doubled the XP you needed to get a bright engram. So they we're gonna fix this. Okay, boom. Now you gotta do twice the amount of work to get it.
I mean, here's the thing. I understand scaling it. Having this little internal tracker of every next bright engram for your character requires more XP. Fine.
It's the fact that they were being completely dishonest with how it was working.
That's it.
On top of that, we're okay now that you figured it out, because people have been saying this for a while now, but someone did a whole fucking report on it. It was straight up. They documented this shit and went ham on it, and they couldn't they couldn't ignore it for that long because it was on Reddit and it went crazy, especially with all the loot box shit with EA. They were like, whoa, we gotta get a hold of this. So that was a big nightmare. Yeah, so man, just loot box stuff been fucking crazy for that. So expect us to talk about it next week because I'm sure there'll be more of it.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh yeah. Let's go over the Xbox and PS games real fast. For December, Xbox Warhammer End Times, Vermonti, what is that?
Vermintide,
yeah. December 1st through the 31st for the Xbox One. Back to the Future, the game, 30th anniversary, December 16th through the January 15th. Children of Eden, December 1st through the 15th. Marlowe Briggs and the Mask of Death, December 16th through the 31st.
Yep.
PlayStation Plus, Darksiders 2, Definitive Edition.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Kung Fu Panda, Shadow of the Legendary Legends. So if you got any kids, I'm sure that'd be great for them.
Right.
Siberia Collection for PS3, X-Blaze Lost Memories PS3, Forma Point 8 for the Vita and PS4, Wanted Corp for PS Vita.
Yeah.
Also, Gazillion Games, developer of the Marvel Heroes, closes down the day before Thanksgiving. The closure happened suddenly. The employees stopped receiving severance pay and will not receive any paid time off or any of that, which sucks.
Yeah, they got fucked. Like, the day before Thanksgiving, they were like, studio's closed. Okay, Jesus. What about our... Oh, you guys do money? You don't get any money. I haven't seen any follow-up on this, so I don't know if that ever got sorted out. I don't know what happened. I know Marvel Heroes was winding down. Because I know they were going to close it sometime later this month, but it's already closed. Like, it happened the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I saw that if you had the game, everything was basically free for like the last week or two or whatever.
Yeah, and I think Microsoft issued refunds to people.
Microsoft did for 6 months, which I think is how long it came out. PlayStation apparently didn't. Or maybe it was like 1 month or something. Yeah. But apparently people were mad at Sony because Sony's rules were like, no refunds, never.
Yeah, that's
just bullshit.
Yeah, that was.
But at the same time, these are with these kind of games, like. Yeah. I mean, I know someone who got burned because they bought the Lifetime Edition to the Star Trek game.
Oh man,
I know someone else who bought the Lifetime Edition to the Lord of the Rings online.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what was funny. Last Black Friday or 2 years ago maybe, there was a sale, and I thought, oh, okay, great, I'll jump into this thing because it's been around for a little bit, and I'll
I know where you're going.
Yeah, they've got a nice cool $60 deal on this little starter set. And it's going to be here forever. And that was Disney Infinity. And like a month later, they announced oh yeah, we're shutting that shit down.
Yeah, now there's none of those games.
Yeah.
Now Lego is the other one that's like, nope, this isn't viable.
Wow, they're shutting down Dimensions too?
Yeah, Dimensions is being shut down.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Meanwhile, there's going to be a Mario cereal coming out on the 11th.
Yeah, right.
The 15th or 11th or one of those. Look it up. Yeah, I forget. Yeah. But, so that's probably going to be a collectible item.
Right, for real. Oh, did you see they have Star Wars color change spoons with certain cereals like they did with the Lion King?
Oh, I got to get that.
It's awesome. I got the one Reese's Puffs, and it had Ray in it, and it turns blue. And I was like, I'm 5 years old again with this shit. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely
I think it's called like Mario's Amiibos.
Because there is Amiibo functionality with the cereal.
Right, yeah. Like you get stuff in the game. You get stuff in Mario.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so
there
bizarre.
You go.
It's so weird.
Oh, yeah. Now we got a little bit of other news before we get into our reviews. We'll go through. Access Alonso stepped down as editor-in-chief of Fox.
Of Marvel.
Of Marvel. Jesus Christ. I knew it was Marvel. I was looking right at it. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I'm going to fuck more things up before the end of this. Alonso's departure described as a mutually agreed upon parting of the ways. Apparently a lot of people didn't like it.
Yeah, and a lot of people are really unhappy with his replacement too.
Yeah, you get into that.
Yeah, CB Sapolsky was VP of something or other, International Brand Management. And then it came to light that he completely made up a Japanese author, Akira Yoshida, back in the early 2000s because that was the only way he felt he could find work.
Whoa, okay, so I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
I was thinking, okay, he just made up a pen name. That's not that bad.
No,
if I picked up a Luke Skywalker, I'm obviously not a Skywalker. But for that reason, that's fucked up.
Evidently, there was some kind of policy about he couldn't get hired because he was in-house. So he created this whole other person. And it wasn't just that he created a person with a Japanese name, but a lot of the comics he worked on, he incorporated a lot of Japanese elements.
Oh, he was really into Japanese stuff. Isn't there a phrase for people that are not Japanese but they're really into Japanese stuff and they are? I don't know if it's a bad phrase for them. There's like a fan base where they take it to another level. If you know what I mean.
Weeaboo is the first word that comes to my mind.
Weeaboo, maybe that's what I'm thinking.
But
of.
this was some real life Yellowface shit.
That's
where he was he wasn't he wasn't taking meetings as this guy. This guy just didn't exist.
What?
But it was so.
Hey, can I get a job at Marvel and just fucking make up names and shit?
Right.
Oh yeah, you're right now because I remember seeing that people at Marvel swore that they knew this guy.
Yeah,
but they've seen him in the offices and they're like, no, you're thinking of the wrong Japanese guy.
Yeah, which in and of itself was a problem.
It's so fucked up.
But I think Bleeding Cool was where they really dove into this and it's a hell of a read and it's just kind of This is just some shit.
What if you're Marvel? I mean, this guy has to come out and apologize, obviously. But...
Yeah, they did kind of that half-assed, I did this thing back then, I was younger and stupid, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. That kind of shit. That kind of insincere, hey, you know what? Fine, you're going to make this a deal. I'm sorry, kind of apology.
Do you think he should lose his job? Or, I don't think... what he did is as bad as what we're about to talk about.
Yeah, that's fair. But
yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, obviously.
I think there definitely has to be something done. You can't just let this go. But
shake it around, give it to someone else. I don't think he should maybe lose his job with Marvel. Just put him in a different position. That's be interesting to watch. Have you read any comics recently?
Not in a long time, actually.
I picked up a shitload of comics this week. I did. I picked up Doomsday Clock, which is great.
I heard good things. I heard a lot of good things.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, it's the time to, in the comic, obviously in the first one it was Nixon and stuff like that, and this one it's obviously Trump because North Korea is about to attack and. It shows golf clubs, and they're like, we're waiting on the president, but he's got the ninth hole and stuff like that. Man. But it's very much oh, yeah, is this the 60s or is this 2017?
Yeah.
Because, Russia's ready to invade Poland, and, it's oh, this is very much the Watchmen.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I'm wondering how it's all going to tie into Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman and all that other stuff. Rorschach, I won't spoil that, but it's interesting. It's a twist that I just it's great.
Nice.
But yeah, good stuff. So yeah, I've jumped back now into DC and Marvel. Like I said, after I saw all these movies and TV shows, I'm like, all right, I'm back in.
Nice.
I want to read something. And the good thing is this month with all the Marvel stuff, it's all starting off points. So
excellent, very cool.
Yeah, if you go into the comic book store, they're all those weird covers that you turn sideways and they look funky or whatever.
Okay.
But they're all starting off points. The Captain America's really good. The Black Panther's really good. Guardians of the Galaxy was great. Richard Rior's alive, they find out. And so everything's leading up to Infinity Stones and stuff like that, I think.
Yeah.
That's their big push because I'll drop this topic in just a second, but in the previews for Marvel Legacy or whatever, or in Marvel Legacy, they show Wolverine with one of them.
Yeah.
The Logan that is the 616 Logan. So, all these comics, that's going to be the next big thing, I think, is because obviously they're getting prepared for Thanos being in the movies, and the Infinite Stones I can't pronounce shit tonight. That all these comics are kind of leading to that, and the Guardians of the Galaxy ties very much into that. That's where they even mention it. They're like, we need to go find these stones because after the world came back together after Doom's with everything that happened with Doom, those have been spread across the universe again. And so I don't know. So anyway, I've been reading. I've been picking up some of those and like including the new Thanos stuff. So, but yeah, let's get into let's talk about net neutrality.
Yeah, just they've decided we don't need it anymore, apparently.
Which is crazy. Like this is one of those things. Like it doesn't matter if you're on the right or left. This is something that this is as crucial to me as breathing. The way our entire country and world works on the internet.
Just the idea of this, what the average consumer is going to start seeing if they actually, because the vote is actually in like a week or two, but they, what we're going to start seeing is your internet plan is going to look like your cable plan. You're going to have, if you pay for this level, you get access to these websites. If you want other websites, or if you want these websites to be faster, if you have Comcast, they don't really like Netflix because they're a competitor. So Netflix is going to be slower. Unless you upgrade to our premium plan, and then your Netflix will stream at the right speed.
Right.
That's what
exactly
this is.
What's going to happen.
That's what this is. And it's absolute garbage. It's complete and total garbage. This affects,
everything, the entire internet, everything you do.
Yeah.
There's two different ends of this, because not only are they going to be able to piecemeal your internet just like they would your cable service.
Yeah.
So you get a new phone plan, you have to pay $5 extra to use video services. Oh, you want the package that includes social media apps like Facebook and stuff like that? That's another $5. Oh, you want the email package that has the Yahoo, the Gmail, or whatever? That's $5 extra. So what they're going to do is they're going to tie it up in a bow and say, we're going to save you money. You don't have to spend $60 on a data plan. You only can spend $5 and get the social media apps if that's all you use. They're going to piecemeal the internet.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like you said, the services like Netflix or PlayStation or Xbox or any of these, it's going to be shitty for not only those businesses, because now they're going to be surcharged for it, but they're also going to make you pay extra on the back end. So the only people profiting in this
are the
ISPs and the politicians that's getting their pockets filled. Yeah. That's it. Make sure you go to battleforthenet.com. That's battleforthenet.com. Put in your information, your name, your phone number and whatnot. They call you immediately and they hook you up with the representative in your area, your congressman. And voicemail is probably full, but that will get you started because there's sadly not much we can do about this. This isn't something that's going to be voted in by the people. It's voted in by the 5 people holding the FCC chair.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen after this. You know way more about politics than I do. I don't know if this is something that could be stopped in Congress.
Here's the thing. Congress could stop it. They probably won't, for the same reason this is going to pass the FCC. There is likely to be a monumental court battle over all of this. The thing here is, this should be something that absolutely unifies both sides, because you can look at this from the left as like a free speech thing, and this is giving businesses too much power, blah blah blah, whatever. You can look at this from the right and saying, wait a minute, you mean now I'm gonna have to pay for every horrible racist tweet I want to send? Fuck that. This should be an issue that unites everybody.
It's a regulation to prevent other regulations and to make things equal for the internet. And by pulling that, then you remove the ability for it to be an even playing field. In the last 10 years, think about companies like Amazon and things like applications. My mind just went blank here. Like Uber and stuff like that. Things that just didn't exist and would not be as profitable. So don't tell me that this is going to make it better for companies when you have companies like Amazon that went from nothing. They went from their offices in Seattle or whatever that were like in like a storage unit to one of the biggest companies in the world that the way it is right now, companies can't thrive and grow because they can. They have the ability to do so. It is when you sign up for your internet service, they don't tell you how to use it. Obviously, you can't do illegal shit, but they don't tell you that you can't, go to this website or do this or do that. And with this, they have the ability to do that. And don't believe they're bullshit, because now Comcast and all of them are coming out. We vow to not make these changes.
Bullshit.
Why would you spend as much money as you do if you're not why would you spend all of this money fighting for the ability to do that and not do it? Come on.
Yeah.
No. And if you don't believe them, if you're anyone that has Comcast or any of these major companies, have they ever fucked you over and just raised the prices because they felt like it? Come on, get out of here.
This is the epitome. This is we like to make mountains out of molehills when it comes to the internet. It's part of our DNA.
This is a mountain.
But this is the mountain. This is
a mountain, man. We should die on, because this is the internet as we know it, as we have known it for a long time, is going to change drastically if this goes through and nothing is done about it. And hopefully 10 years down the road, we don't look back and go, well, look what could have, look what happened, because it is going to be this moment where it changes.
Yeah.
And it won't, I don't think it'd be dramatic. It would happen over time. And how they would do it is kind of how they're doing it now. They'll start going, well, if you sign up for Sprint, you get HBO Go for free. Oh, hey, awesome. That's how it starts.
T-Mobile comes with Netflix.
That's how it starts.
This is exactly
because these companies, and you can look into the history. There have been court battles, AT&T specifically. When they sold the iPhones, they wanted to charge you more to use FaceTime.
Yeah.
They said no, that's net neutrality exists. You can't do that. And so it was illegal for them to do that, but by God, they wanted to, because you were using more internet data.
Yep.
And we have an existence right now where they can't charge you more because you use a specific application. Under this rule, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, if they decide, hey, we're going to yank this regulation, oh, less regulation, yay. Sometimes you need regulations. Sometimes.
You do.
This is one that is, oh God, I can't, if this goes, then you are going to see, you're going to see it almost immediately. I guarantee you. Because you think these people don't have plans? You think they don't have maps drawn up in the boardroom somewhere of like, okay, once this is over, here's how we're going to start packaging this. Day and date. I will guarantee you, immediately you're going to start seeing it. And people are going to be upset. How could this happen? Why are they allowed to do this? What do you mean I have to pay extra money to log on to Facebook? This is what happens. And if you, God damn, people just, what was it? Battleforthenet.com?
Yeah, it is battleforthenet.com.
Yes, go do this.
We got 12 days, people.
This is something we should all be able to agree on.
Yeah, this is across the board. If you like the internet the way it is right now, it needs to stay like that.
Yeah.
If you have a dream of making a website that can compete, if you're down school and you're doing whatever, you're older and you think, you know what, I could be the next guy who does Amazon or Uber, or you have an idea, that is all going to go to hell when this happens, because you no longer have the keys to your future.
Yeah.
The ISP services do, because they can throttle, and if you're not big enough to have a deal with them, well, guess what, you're not going to be seen.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is, I don't know much more we can talk about it. We're going to be talking about it next week, of course. But make sure you go to the website. Make sure you tell the people in your area and talk to people. Look this up. Don't just take our words for it. Go investigate this.
Yes, absolutely.
And look it up. And look for yourself. And talk to the people around you. Talk to your parents. Talk to your loved ones. Let them know that this is not okay and it can't change. Can't tell you how many people I've talked to about this, and I've talked to a lot of people that have very different political views with me, and they are infuriated because guess what groups us all together? We all fucking hate the ISPs.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Agreed.
It's true. There's no good to come of this for us.
No. If there was ever anything to bring together the ACLU and 4chan, this is it.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
That's how
Absolutely.
that's how bad this is. That's not an unlikely alliance. Like,
Oh yeah.
that's what's fucking insane.
Yeah.
So I just
Absolutely. All right.
yeah. So yeah, to continue on with depressing news, it's time for another segment of This Week in Sexual Harassment. The biggest name was actually just a couple days ago, was Matt Lauer.
This came as a shock to me.
Yeah. Although looking back at some of the interviews, like some places have put up like compilations of like, oh yeah, he's done some really creepy interviews in the past.
I saw he has like a thing where when his door shuts, he can lock it underneath his desk like an XMen villain.
Yeah, there's some weird shit. Because it, like, the allegation, NBC put out somebody high up at NBC put out the statement. They had to do the official thing. This was the first complaint against Lauer, which I don't exactly believe. But they were, quote, presented with reason to believe this may not have been an isolated incident. And yeah, like, we've been seeing, like, all these new details coming out of, like, yeah, it turns out he was a creep.
Right, exactly.
And now he is suing NBC because when they fired him, they forgot to give him his $30 million severance.
What?
He wants his $30 million severance package.
Well, I don't know anything about that. Can he? I mean, I guess if they fired him, they have to give that to him, right?
Yeah, but by the same token, fuck him. You don't get $30 million for this.
No, I agree, but when you're fired, that's kind of the law. You have to give them severance. There's
got to be a clause in there that has, exceptions for, like, were you fired for, like, was this, there's a difference between, we had to downsize and you just kind of got fired, or you're alleged of doing some criminal activity. Like, there's got to be something in the contract about that.
No, I agree. No, I totally agree. I'm not saying he should have it or anything, but that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, like, that's going to bring the legalese of a lot of this to light.
They're probably going to do it just to be done with it.
Yeah.
Oh, what a fucking nightmare, dude. What is like? The thing is, this is going to sound really weird. I had a conversation with someone I know. And they tried to justify some of this. Some of the things they were like, well, it made them think like, well, I've said things like that to the past. And I talked to them and I'm like, well, who did you say them to? And they're like, well, I said to it was girlfriend or wife. And I was like, well, yeah, you're in a relationship. And if you make a sexual comment, it's, it's flirting. It's whatever, that you're in a relationship. For some reason, it didn't hit them in their head. These are the people they work with. These are strangers. They're grabbing their ass and they're, you know what I mean?
These are their superiors at work in some cases.
They're superiors, exactly. This is more of a power thing. This isn't like you having, I guess they thought, well, we're not going to be able to say things to our wives anymore. And I'm like, what?
Up.
Are you kidding? I was like, you don't understand what's wrong here.
No.
It just baffled me that, and I didn't know if that's like something that a lot of people think.
Apparently.
But
I've been seeing so much of that shit of like, and there was somebody, oh god, I don't even know if it's anybody on this list.
It's like if you're in the privacy of your own home and you make a comment about your wife's butt, or if you're the wife and you make a comment about your man's ass, that's your wife, that's your husband,
right?
That's different, completely different. And for some reason, it made me take a step back and think, do a lot of people feel this way?
Yeah.
And some of the comments you see on Twitter from like nightmare people,
yeah,
it's sort of similar. They're like, well, this is an attack on men and stuff like that.
Oh, shut up. God damn with this shit.
It baffles me when I see stuff like that.
I don't know, I didn't put it down here, but there was somebody famous who was like, oh, well, this was mistaken flirting or something. I'm like, this is not that. And if that's how you flirt, then you're fucking wrong.
There was a woman recently. Was it not the one from Murder, She Wrote?
Yes,
it was somebody.
Yes, it was.
Was that it? They were like,
I think,
well, women have a little bit of responsibility too, or something.
Get out of here with that victim blaming shit. I mean, Angela Lansbury's 92 years old, so I'm just, I
different time.
Yeah, but we're not in that time anymore. So
that's going to be the thing moving forward. I think is that obviously this is all coming to light right now, and a lot of this stuff is stuff that was a long time ago. I hope that though, because it's brought to light, 10 years down the road, we don't get like these stories have to stop at some point, right?
Well, you would hope, but it doesn't look like it, and I would rather have them out. I want these people gone. Like,
I completely agree.
I don't want to hear, we'll get to, there's some people in this list that I like, but I don't tolerate that shit.
Right.
You gotta go. This one kind of sucked. This was Garrison Keillor from A Prairie Home Companion, and
I don't know what that is.
Somebody, A Prairie Home Companion was a big, what is it, NPR or whatever show. They did a movie about it a while back. But
Home on the Range. I don't know. For some reason, I think of that stuff.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Okay.
But I think, anyway, I may be wrong. I may be totally off here. But he got fired after a woman complained about his grab-assy behavior, and here was his thing. He said that women frequently, quote, slipped an arm around and let it drift below the belt line, and that he called this a poetic irony of a high order. That he got fired for doing something that apparently women do it to me all the time. Then either you enjoy it and shut the fuck up, or you speak out and say, hey, I don't like that. And, I get that this is kind of the same thing flipped, but here's the thing. If you're going to use this as your excuse, if you're like, well, women do this to me all the time, that's part of the society we live in, where guys are conditioned to, like, ooh, a woman grabbed my butt, that's nice. You don't think about anything beyond that.
Right.
So it's just, that was just such horseshit. Like, that whole thing was fucking garbage.
Mm-hmm. Didn't someone do this to, was it, it wasn't Jennifer I don't know, it wasn't J-Law, it was, what's her name? The country music singer.
Are you talking about Taylor Swift?
Didn't someone do this to Taylor Swift? Like, grabbed her ass at a
photo opportunity or something. Right. It was a DJ, and she
sued him or something, right?
She sued him, and then he countersued for defamation or whatever. But and of course they threw that suit out because he was fucking wrong.
That's what it was.
And she won her. Yeah, this was a few months ago. And the great thing about it was she sued him for $1. Because
that's right. Yeah, because it was principle. It was like, fuck you.
That was exactly it. Of like, this is not cool. It's not about
what hits home to me with a lot of this stuff. We're obviously not women, and women are mostly the targets in all of this.
Yeah.
What hits home to me is that if someone's doing this, if someone's powerful as these actresses and whatnot, this is happening daily with your girlfriends, your wives, the women that you just know that are not in Hollywood. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is happening everywhere. And that's just crazy to think about. It's making the news because these are famous people, but what's not making the news is the millions that just go through this on a daily basis.
Agreed.
It's crazy to think about.
And it's if nothing else, I hope that the Me Too campaign has brought out has given women more power to speak out. To say, no, this happens to me too.
Oh yeah, I've talked to like women in my life that their response, almost all of them, are like, yeah, this is not something new.
Yeah, and
this is something like you get a job and you got some pervy boss or whoever. Like this is nothing new.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
It's sad and it's disgusting, and I'm just reboot the whole fucking thing. I'm so done because we're still not done here. They fired Andrew Kreisberg from CW after 15 women and 4 men came forward and accused him of sexual assault.
That's right. It was like the entire cast of One Tree Hill.
No. That was that's down here at the bottom. That was Mark Schwann.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you see how bad this is? Where it's like, no, it wasn't that CW guy who groped everybody. It was the other CW guy who groped everybody.
That's crazy. Yeah, and I saw like the entire cast came out, and it wasn't like 1 or 2 people. It was like, no, we all saw it.
Yeah, it was the whole female cast and crew. Yeah, and then the cast of the Royals came out and said, yeah, he's still doing this shit.
Jesus.
Yeah. No, Kreisberg, who was EP for the Arrowverse. Basically.
Yeah, for Flash and all that. Oh my God, that's crazy.
So they fired his ass. They were like, we hear the complaints. He's been indefinitely suspended. We're launching an investigation. And then very shortly after that investigation, they said, you said get out. Bye.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Al Franken, of course, we all saw the picture, and his whole thing of like, of it was supposed to be funny and it wasn't, and I apologize. Which here's the thing, I can see the humor in it because that's that kind of humor. But also, that doesn't exist. It's not an excuse. You don't get to say, well, I thought it would be funny. It was still assault, you know?
Right.
And there have been more women since. I think the total's up to, 4 or 6 now? Yeah. So this was not... These things are not isolated incidents. This isn't, oh, this guy did it one time. No. It's all... There are always going to be more. And
yeah, it's a pattern.
Yeah, and he should either resign or be thrown out of the Senate. I love Al, and I side with a lot of his politics, and I loved him on SNL. But I've got zero tolerance for shit. Get out. You're gone. Yep. Bye. See you later.
Yeah, I loved his no shit attitude when it came to doing what he does. But you're absolutely right. It doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. Doesn't matter your politics. It doesn't matter any of that shit. When you're a creep like this, you gotta go.
No, you're out. Bye. See you later. The same for John Lasseter, the head of Pixar, who has decided that he's going to take a 6-month leave of absence, reflect, and then come back. No, John, I don't want you back. And a lot of current and former Pixar employees who have said that there was a boys club kind of toxic towards women atmosphere, bye, gone. See ya.
And heads are just rolling in Hollywood.
And let them keep rolling. Jeffrey Tambor from Transparent. He actually left the series because a co-star on Transparent and a former personal assistant came forward. And he did this, and here was another of these bullshit statements. If, quote, any action of mine was ever misinterpreted as aggressive, and he is saying that he can't return because of, quote, the politicized atmosphere that seems to have afflicted our set. You sexually harassed people, Jeffrey. Get the fuck out. That's not...
It's not politics. There's not politics about that.
No, and that's not political in any definition of the word ever. It's, hey, you sexually assaulted these people. Get the fuck out. That's not any kind of political games or anything. It's criminal. It's criminal activity. Get out.
Yeah.
Bye. See you later. Russell Simmons, the producer. There was a model named Carrie Clausen, gonna screw this up, Kali, said that in '91, Simmons forced himself on her while Brett Ratner was watching. Because, as we know, Brett Ratner is also a creep. There have been other instances. He and Ratner were investigated by the Beverly Hills PD about 10 years after that. And we've had other women come forward, and Simmons has had to step down from whatever position it was he held, wherever. I don't know what...
Jeff Jam.
God, he was still Jeff Jam, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had to step down. I think that was just today. And Charlie Rose, that was a show. I fucking loved watching Charlie Rose, and now I can't look at him again. And that's, oh well, They fired his ass from PBS and CBS. But, and he did another thing, one of these, I apologize and I accept responsibility. However, these claims aren't entirely accurate. Shut up, Charlie. Just go away. You're done. Goodbye. Get out of here. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, because I don't want you...
I mean, obviously these people coming forward have evidence and proof. You know what I mean? This isn't just...
They are the proof. Their stories are the proof. That's because this is not... I don't want to hear about any of this. Like, oh, blah, blah, blah. There was a story that I did not put in here. There was was it a producer that worked on Girls, I think. I don't know if it was a producer, but it was somebody on Girls who is being accused of this. I don't have the name in front of me. But Lena Dunham, who was one of the people who famously tweeted that women do not lie about rape, has now come up to say to defend this producer, and is saying that his accuser is lying about rape.
Right.
So I don't even know where to go with any of this shit anymore.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I believe the people who are brave enough to come forward and say this happened, because this is not for money. This ain't that. Get out of here with that bullshit. Well, they come forward because people pay them. Shut up. No, they don't.
Well, there was what was it? The Post
Yeah.
There was a story recently about, what was it? It was the Alabama governor, right?
It was somebody who there was a website that loves doing this kind of shit, which is their whole idea of like, oh, it's a sting or whatever, and I can't remember, Veritas or something that it is, Project Veritas, I think. They sent somebody in to make false claims so that the people who sent this person in there could then bust the post for reporting it and saying, oh no, it's fake, we got you. And what happened was the post, because they're full of journalists, did fact-checking and busted these guys who were trying to pawn off this fake bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's different. That's not...
No, I agree. Yeah. I agree. But I think that I agree. But you got to be careful with some of that, though.
Right. But I mean, here's the thing. These are not going to be isolated incidents.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, it's not just one... obviously, they're going, wait, I deeply apologize. You did it.
Yeah.
You don't have to follow it up with, I don't believe that all these are true. Just say, I deeply apologize. I accept responsibility. Once you say that, then
you're done. On. Get off the stage. Hand the microphone to the next guy in line, because there's going to be fucking dozens of them, at least.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about Thor. Thor was fun.
Yes.
There's no segue, so I mean,
Right.
Yeah. We're in the reviews.
Man, where do we start with Thor?
I don't know, at the end, at the beginning, at the middle. We're in the reviews section, so this is spoiler territory. If anybody,
all spoilers.
Yeah. That, like, it was awesome. Like, it started amazing. They set the tone with him dangling on the chain. With Serta sitting there going, Thor, son of Odin, and he looks at him and goes, Serta, son of a bitch, you're still alive.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. We are off to the races, baby. And it was fantastic. And it was so much fun. No, wait, hang on. It's going around again. I swear I'm not doing this. Hang on, I have to turn around. It was fun. Exactly. They let them have fun with this. He and Taika Waititi did amazing. God bless him, he went from What We Do in the Shadows to one of the best Marvel movies that they've ever made. I mean, God love him. Like, it's fantastic. It's so fantastic. It's a great story.
Oh yeah, it's so good, man. The humor in it, the moments. Jeff Goldblum just. Oh man,
he's just Jeff Goldblum. He's just Jeff Goldblum, but it works. It's so perfect. I loved it.
Cate Blanchett, she ate up every scene she was in,
and so good, so good. And I loved the subtle evolution of her hair. Did you notice? Like, when she first shows up and it's just everywhere, and then by the end of it, it's all sleek and like styled and shit. It's a fun, subtle little nod to that kind of thing, and I would be willing to trade these passcodes for a safe passage through the anus.
Right. They tied in. What was crazy to me, thinking back, is they tied in some of the funniest scenes we've seen in Marvel for humor and stuff like that with some of the most game-changing, dramatic scenes for these characters.
Yeah.
Like, spoilers, but where it ends with Thor and everything, and how Ragnarok happens, and I loved how they did at the beginning of the movie. Because I'm like, well, we all have read Thor Ragnarok, Asgard's destroyed, blah 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 blah. But I love it at the beginning of the movie. They nip it in the bud, and you're like, oh, well, okay, this is gonna be nothing like what I thought.
Yeah.
And then they come around to it, and I'm like, oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
And what happened, at the end of the film, I don't want to jump all the way to the end yet, but like, I just loved, like you said, just how Hemsworth deals with the humor of him and Hiddleston and Jeff Goldblum and Mark Ruffalo and who was the woman who played
Valkyrie? Oh, I'm gonna have to look it up because she was
Tara
phenomenal.
Thompson, I think. Tessa Thompson.
Tessa Thompson sounds right. But yeah, it was great because she played basically the drunk war vet.
Yes.
She was that guy who like, oh yeah, I'm the badass who has seen some shit, so like I'm the
bounty hunter now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and she played so magnificently, and so good. And I just, oh god.
Oh yeah, her just falling over immediately.
Yeah.
It was just perfect.
Yeah, yeah, Tessa Thompson. That's right.
I loved how colorful a lot of the scenes were, especially the stuff on the planet, which I forget the name of it. Same thing as Planet Hulk, I believe.
Oh man, I don't remember.
Yeah. But Jeff Goldblum, like, he just, his scenes, like, with his stick that just, like, he's like, well, I don't need that. Why would I do that? Why did you have a disagreement or whatever?
Why did you hand me the melt stick?
That's it.
Oh, God.
And at the end, he tries to turn, he's like, well, this was all, this is great. This happened.
I'm very proud of you all. Pat on the back. Pat on the back. Me too.
Right.
I've earned it, you know. So
I hope we see him again.
Congratulations. It's a tie.
Right. The High Evolutionary, he's huge in the Marvels.
He's
like
massive in the comics.
In the comics, yeah, he's like obviously, I guess a lot of people who have not read a lot of him, because I didn't, I had to look a lot of it up. But he wasn't kidding about being like as old as he was.
Yeah, that was that was a fun little aside. On any other planet, I'd be millions of years old, but out here, and then he just kind of lets it hang. And it's a fun little bit of like, is he actually that old, or is it just because he's really vain and doesn't want to say how old he is because he thinks that it would be too old? But I loved it. He was fantastic.
Right. Oh yeah.
We're not doing Get Help.
What'd you think of Carl Urban's character?
I liked him. He
wasn't terribly important, but
no, but he filled. I liked what he accomplished.
Yes.
Because he was conflicted throughout the whole thing. You could tell he was like, am I evil? No, I'm just kind of a dick.
Where did he get those guns at the end? I guess from that planet.
Texas.
They
were his from the beginning.
Maybe I went to the bathroom during one of the scenes.
You might have. Oh, at the very beginning of the movie, he's got all his stuff.
Oh, okay, that's where I missed it.
Yeah, they're part of his stuff. Yeah, at the beginning.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But I thought he was great in it. Idris Elba, was great.
So good. God.
So fucking good, man. A lot of people thought he might have the Soul Stone because of his orange eyes and the stone in the middle of his chest piece.
That's one rumor. I don't think so. I think that's just...
I don't think so either. Yeah.
No, that's just his thing. There is magic on Asgard, so I think that's just
right. Oh yeah. Wait, so do you think... Why isn't he in the new Avengers movie?
Because he's... I don't know. Maybe somebody has to watch over the Asgardians while Thor's off fighting Thanos, I guess.
He's probably in it. He just probably isn't. Yeah. You're absolutely right. No, yeah, he's probably like, okay, while they go fight Thanos, I'm going to get you guys, the survivors, out of here.
Yeah, pretty much. Same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I leave you in charge. And he's going to be like, I don't want to do that. It's like, I have to go fight Thanos. Okay.
Right. Right. Yeah, exactly. I could totally see that. But man, I thought it was fantastic. Anthony Hopkins' character, of course.
I love how much fun must he have had playing Loki at playing Odin.
Oh yeah,
he must have had such a ball with that. It's great that Sir Anthony Hopkins' first line in this movie is, "Oh shit."
Right. Exactly.
I was like, oh god, I loved it.
Man.
He must have.
Great.
He must, because later he gets to be dramatic Sir Anthony Hopkins. But how much fun must he have had being fun Loki in Anthony Hopkins' disguise? Like that must have been so much fun for him.
Oh yeah, and Matt Damon too. It's so random.
And because like the first time they showed him, I was like, that can't be. Like, it's not. I know it's not. I saw this wrong. And then cut back to, the other Hemsworth being Thor, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then they cut back to Loki, and I was like, that is Matt Damon. How did they get Matt Damon in this? Well, Taika called him. Like,
yeah.
Or no,
one shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. God, I loved it. Oh, it's so good. It was
so good.
So good.
It's a fun movie. And that's the thing. I mean, I saw this like a week after Justice League. And
yeah.
I walked out of this just in such a better mood. That was fun. What a fun ride, and I can't wait to see what happens next. And the scene at the end where they obviously run into what looks like probably Thanos' ship.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, and Korg and Keek or Meek or whatever.
Meek, yeah.
Meek from the World War Hulk comic, and it was so good.
It was great. Like, I loved how they paid the right homages and they kept things serious when it was necessary, but they didn't take themselves too seriously.
Right.
And we saw some of that with James Gunn. We saw a little bit of that with Ant-Man, but this was where they really just kind of put the throttle down and said, let's just have some it's a comic book movie. Let's have fun with it.
Right, and there were real consequences, but there was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Thor losing his fucking eye, did not see that coming.
No, I didn't see that coming, and I didn't see Mark Ruffalo bouncing off the bridge either.
Right, exactly. That was great.
That was magnificent. Of just like, okay, he's gonna turn into the Hulk, and he's gonna land on the plunk, and just kind of skids, and oh my god.
Oh yeah, that was fantastic. A lot of those shots too, with like Thor jumping up in the slow motion, and like they just look like something that a mural you would paint or whatever. And I loved that they weren't afraid to go that far with Thor with his eye and stuff, because like in the comics, old man Thor, like the old Thor, he has a missing eye, so and it seems obviously that has stuck. I loved how they in the trailer he has his eyes the whole time during all those scenes, but they remove it, so
well,
I thought that was so cool.
And there is an interesting thing that all of the promo art for Infinity War has him with both eyes and his hammer.
Right.
Now, I don't know if that's spoilering something for Infinity War, or if it was to avoid spoilering Ragnarok.
It was to avoid it until right now, I think, because the trailer has him with the one eye.
Right, but like the promo photos and stuff that they've had recently are like him in some different armor with his hammer and two eyes.
That was before the trailer launched.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, yeah, they give it about a month. I mean, I'm glad I saw Thor before I saw this trailer, else I would have been like, oh shit, big spoiler.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's even not even that big of a spoiler. Like, the way they do it, like, Thor's such a beast, he just kind of, like, it's no big deal.
Yeah, he's like, oh shit, I lost an eye.
My favorite line, and I don't know why it is, the scene is where Thor talks about how much he likes snakes.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that just came off so funny to me. He's like, well, Loki knows how much I like snakes, and of course, I'm just like, this is hilarious, because nobody likes snakes.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, he was just using that against me. That was such, oh man, that was such a funny scene. And it just, it's I think because of, how do you pronounce his last name? Waititi?
Waititi, Taika Waititi.
Waititi. Why don't I think there was a K in there? That was his first name.
It's his first name, yeah.
Yeah, so it was very much the vampire movie that he did before.
There was so much
shadows.
Yeah, there was so much of that tone in there of just like, we're just gonna have some fun. And it's magnificent. I still
the Revengers.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, there's so much in it that's serious without being overly dramatic.
Right.
He and Loki in the elevator is a perfect example of we're having a serious moment that isn't all gloom and doom and dark and like it's perfect Thor who has come full circle. The idea of like, no, I know what you are.
Right.
I know what you're you and I'm me.
Yeah.
We're not doing Get Help. Oh, come on, you love Get Help. No, right. You love Get Help. It's humiliating. I enjoy it. Like,
right.
And I love the callback to that when they're all standing on the bridge with Hela coming towards them, and Loki just turns to him and says, "We're not doing Good Help."
Yeah, exactly.
Oh god.
Oh yeah. And I love the the scenes with the Hawk where he was like, "It's the sun's coming down." Blah blah blah. blah. Like,
as soon as he started doing that, like, I lost my shit. I'm sitting there and he's walking up to the Hulk and he's got his hand out and he's going, "Hey there, big guy." And I was like, he's not really doing this. He's not going to do the suns get real low.
He's just completely copying her. It was so good. It was so good.
God. And Loki in the box up top, just watching the fight. As soon as the Hulk comes out, and he's like, I have to get off this planet.
Right.
Oh my god. And the callback, the way he thrashes Thor, which had to have been shot for shot, like frame for frame, the same CGI that they did with Loki. God, I love that this film was so much fun. Mm-hmm. That's the best thing about it. It understood where it needed to go, but it wasn't afraid to say, look, this doesn't have to all be one tone. It can be fun and serious and have consequences. I mean,
exactly. There's some big consequences.
There's some huge consequences.
More so than a lot of the Marvel films.
I mean, they fucking blew up Asgard. Like, I mean, that's a pretty big consequence.
Oh yeah, I love the home is where your heart is, basically. Home is where your people is. And
exactly.
That was a cool message, and I like that. And it makes me worried about because in the Avengers trailer, you see Loki handing over that Tesseract, and I think he's walking over Asgardians. So I hope they don't kill them all off. I hope that they do escape somehow, and Thor's left there to fight him. But it just makes you think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a crazy state of the universe it ends in.
No kidding.
Oh yeah. So let's move on to, you want to talk about Justice League?
Sure. It was okay. That's really the best I can give it. I don't hate it as much as a lot of people have, and I can see their points.
Yeah,
but
me either.
Because there are a lot of problems with it. There are a ton of problems with Justice League. But at the end of the day, I thought, you know what? This was not that bad. It wasn't Suicide Squad.
No. Which is the worst. It wasn't Batman vs Superman.
No. It
wasn't as good as Wonder Woman, but it was I think she had a lot to do with why I liked a lot of the film.
Agreed.
But it was, I think if you're a comic book fan, you go see this in the theater, no question.
Yeah, I agree. Like, the villain is, again, it's a comic book villain. It's a comic book movie villain. It's a placeholder. There are so few that have actually been interesting. And it's depressing to me. So many of them have just been, it's the dude from Iron Man again. Because they're just blah.
Exactly. And I think, DC had a lot going against itself in this one. They had to do an Avengers-style movie without introducing a lot of the characters. And so on top of that, they cut the movie down from, 2.5 hours to 2 hours. So, and on top of that, Zack Snyder had the tragedy of his daughter committing suicide. So the film was taken over by someone else. So you have these two ideas kind of meshing with each other. It has a lot of those problems, but I think you're right. At the end of the day, it's okay. It's to me, the last 20 minutes gave me hope to what DC has moving forward.
That's the word. That's the word. That whole movie, up until we talked a little bit about this earlier. If Marvel wants to do it, and it's kind of why I don't, because they're like, oh, we have this technology that maybe we can bring back Superman. And fine.
I liked how they did it. I liked how they all had a hand in it.
Yeah.
The worst part about that was the CGI mustache. Like, they had so many things going against themselves.
He looked like human Shrek.
He did. He looked
like
weird
human
as shit when he smiled. I didn't like that immediately he was the bad guy again.
Well, I'm okay with the idea of, like, it didn't last. Like, he just woke up, and so he's not quite focused and all that shit.
Well, he knew what he, like, that's the thing. Like, he knew who they were. He knew they did bad against him. Suddenly he's fucking everything that, Lex Luthor thought he was.
Yeah.
So it's not like he was not in his right mind. He was. He knew who these people were. So I didn't like how they should have made him confused, if anything.
Right.
And I don't think they portrayed that too well. He should have been way more confused, like, I know you, or something like that. But he was more like, I know what you did, blah, 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 and this is like revenge or something, and that's not Superman. And then a few minutes later, he suddenly turns into Superman.
Yeah, except not entirely. I like that this Superman, though, does seem funny.
Well, this is their rebirth of Superman.
Yeah,
that's what I think it is. This is their opportunity to make him more like how he is in the comic books, and they did that. Last 20 minutes, he was talking like Superman, acting like Superman. It was as if DC or Warner Brothers was like, "Okay, we hear you. Here's your Superman."
Yeah.
Like finally.
And him and Cyborg at the end after the thing explodes. Yeah. He's like, "Nope, I've right before it explodes, he's like, and I think we can handle it." Okay, good, because I just got back and I kind of like living. And then the thing blows up and he's looking across at Cyborg and he's going, "No, on second thought, I want to die."
Right. Yeah, it was fun.
And then the little mid-credit scene of him and the Flash. Come on. Yes, I wanted that. And that made me smile a lot when I was like, okay, we're going to have Superman and the Flash. We're going to tease that race. I liked that. That was cute. I enjoyed that. It was fun. And that, if nothing else, gave me a little bit of hope going forward. I really liked Ezra Miller. I really did enjoy his Flash.
Absolutely. I didn't think I would like it, but he was a joy. I hate that they used every humor scene of his in the trailer, which I understand why they did. They want people to think, "Hey guys, we're trying to be fun. Come over, watch our movie."
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
I absolutely liked the scene. I just wish I didn't see all of his jokes before.
My favorite scene of his, though, wasn't a comedy scene. As much as I loved when he was like, "All right, I'm gonna zip around Superman and hit him," and there's Superman tracking him. That was, and seeing his reaction to that was hilarious. But my favorite,
I love the scene with Batman.
My favorite one is actually him and Cyborg when they're digging up Superman.
Ah, okay.
I loved that scene because that showed me that it's like, oh yeah, these two guys do have a lot in common, and they can build character relationships. And they're, it's these two guys who are looking at this going, "Isn't this fucked up? Yeah, it's really fucked up." Well, then why'd they pick us? Well, because look at everybody else. We're just two kids who some fucked up shit happened to.
Right,
And they're like, "Oh yeah, man, you're right. I guess we are." I couldn't handle the CGI on Cyborg because sometimes he was darker.
Right.
He was different shades sometimes, and that was weird to me.
Wait, like his skin tone or his robot stuff?
His skin tone was different shades at some point. Yeah.
Damn. Well, real fast, before we get off the Flash, two of my favorite scenes with him is the one with Batman.
Yeah. Where
Batman's just save one person.
Yes.
And that's such a DC Justice League, that is where our characters shine, I think.
Agreed. Absolutely.
Just start there. You'll know what to do after that. And then he kept saving more and more and more, and it gave him the boot. That's what I want to fucking see.
Yes.
The other scene, the comedy scene, was just him referencing Pet Cemetery.
Yeah.
Was just Pet Cemetery. That was just that was hilarious to me. It reminds me of oh man, what's his face from The Flash? Oh god,
Cisco.
my mind just went.
Cisco,
yes.
Yeah.
He was basically Cisco in this movie, and I loved that.
Yeah, there was a lot of that for sure. But yeah. No, I did. I really enjoyed him.
Cyborg I enjoyed a lot more than I thought I would.
I'll agree to that, yeah.
He didn't need a coat, though.
He's a
robot.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the idea, was he's out in the world, so let's, hide that shit.
Yeah, I guess.
I just, he was alright.
I wish he wasn't as much of a robot, because I didn't, didn't he have, a leg and an arm in the comic?
Yeah, something like that, I think.
I didn't know he was just a floating head. I think he should have had an arm or leg or something.
He should have had more than half a face. That's all.
Right.
That's all of the actor that was there was that half a face.
Right. Yeah, it was like the opposite of Kano.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No.
Wow, that's a good pull.
Right. I thought it should have a little bit more human.
Yeah.
But by the end, they made at least his robotic self look more like Cyborg. But
agreed.
I'm glad that they made him a little bit more human too. Than in the trailers, he looked very I am Cyborg. I am in the ship. I will come get you. It just made it way too robotic. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad he said the booyah stuff like that.
Oh man, I heard some dude like a couple seats down from me, as soon as he just kind of looked up and he was just like, "Booyah!" And this dude was there and he went, "I fucking knew it!" Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like, all right.
Oh yeah. The fans have been waiting for that. The ones who like the series. So,
where like I loved Wonder Woman's progression.
Yes.
And I loved how Bruce kind of got under her skin about that. It worked. Their like that back and forth, I thought actually really worked.
Oh yeah.
And I liked Batman.
I did too.
I actually liked him in this because you saw he understood where he was and everything that he's been through, and he
was on a spiritual journey. I think he was. I fucked up. I did wrong, and Wonder Woman, like you said, he pushed her to be like, you should be the leader, not us. Like you are the leader. Like where have you been the last however many years? Like you need to step up. And I loved that. You're absolutely right. I liked Affleck as Batman. It's kind of a shame to hear that he wants to get out, because I love him as Bruce Wayne, because that's the thing. We see him mostly as Bruce Wayne in the movie, and he acts like
he's got that, man. He has that cold, and it's good. It really will suck that we don't get to see. Yeah. I really hope that he sticks around for a standalone Batman film, because I really do want to see that, because he has got that cold.
Right. I'm sure Jake Gyllenhaal will be fine, but yeah. Exactly.
God, don't. Please, anybody but him.
That's who they're rumored.
No, God. I just
love him.
No, not for this. Like, I like him a lot, but not for this. Not for...
There was actual chemistry between Superman and Lois Lane in this one, I thought.
Yeah, how about that? That was original.
One of my favorite scenes was was it the Mascara? In where Wonder Woman's home place or whatever.
The Mascara, yeah.
What did I say? Mascara. I'm such
Mascara.
an idiot. There where she her home place. I loved the scene where they're playing Keep Away, and it was when they were flashing back to when they were fighting Steppenwolf. And they talked about the lanterns, and the lantern died, and his Green Lantern ring flew away, and I was just like, "Fuck yes!"
Yeah.
Oh man, sucks that that's where they left the Green Lanterns with, because I want to see more Lantern stuff.
Yeah.
But I love that they got that right, So, oh man, I was hoping a Green Lantern tease of some sort in it, but
but we got what we got. Like, oh, lanterns exist. Okay, like that was it.
Oh, they need to be in there though. They're one of the coolest factors of, I think, the Justice League.
Agreed.
And, I don't know. But overall, I thought it was great. I think J.K. Simmons was a little wasted, but I wish there had been so much more of him. And we know that there was a ton cut. Right, he'll be in the Batman movie, I think. So we'll get more of him. They had a lot stacked against him, because you saw how earlier we were so excited about the Avengers. They don't have that. They shot themselves in the foot by doing only Batman and Superman movies for fucking 40 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So this is their own fault. But I have hope for the future that these movies are going to be good. We're going to get Aquaman next year. I loved what they did with that. One of my favorite scenes is when he was just sitting there and he was being honest with them, and he went through them one by one.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
And then and it's great because everybody just kind of started snickering. And finally he's like, "What?" And then he gets up and he's been sitting on the lasso the whole time.
Right, exactly. I was wondering how they were going to do his, talking underwater and stuff like that, and I thought they did okay for it. But yeah, we're gonna get that movie next year, and we're gonna get Shazam. So, I got hopes for the DC universe. I do.
Yeah, if you start taking a close look at Justice League, and especially with Aquaman, you're like, wait, that's the first time he's ever been to Atlantis. He's got a lot of problems with his story.
Right.
I am willing to put all that aside, because this does look like they really gave it an honest effort for a change.
Yes.
Batman vs Superman was garbage. Suicide Squad was garbage. Wonder Woman was awesome, and then it looks like they you could definitely tell they were trying to swing a cruise liner here.
Yes.
It was not going to turn in time to miss all of...
Well, this was all written and was being filmed when Batman vs Superman came out.
Yeah.
So like they knew like, oh shit, it was only until they got Whedon on board and they did some reshoots, heavy reshoots, that they did start to, like you said, move that ship. So moving forward, I hope Aquaman's good. And we all know the Wonder Woman with the same team, the same people. It's got to be good.
I'm looking forward to Wonder Woman. And now I'm looking
forward to the Flash and Cyborgs movie together.
Yeah.
That's gonna be great. I liked his character. And they definitely, look where I got a job now and all that other stuff. Like, it really sets it up, I think.
Yeah, I dug that. Like, there was, for all the bad that there was in it and all the mistakes, there was enough good where I thought, you know what? Okay, I'm willing to give them a shot outside of the Wonder Woman sequel, because I was on board for that regardless of what Justice League did.
Right.
I was totally on board for that. But now it's like, well, what about everything else going forward? You know what? I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a shame the movie didn't do as good as it did, because it should have done way better. It was the lowest opening of any of the DC movies.
Yeah, and they're going to lose, what are they talking, 150 million, I think?
Yeah.
Overall.
I don't think this is like, all right, close it up, we're done with it. No, I don't think they'll do that.
No, because Wonder Woman did so well. If Wonder Woman hadn't done well and been so well received, if it had been a crap movie too, then I would be really worried for DC right now.
They would have rebooted the whole thing, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have anything else really to say about it. I'm looking forward to more DC movies, and my ass will be in the seat next year for Aquaman and Shazam whenever that comes out.
I just wish I couldn't recite the entire post-credit scene. I
love that scene.
It's a fun little scene, but I've seen that scene like 30 times just in the last 2 weeks.
Right.
From having to be in there to wait to clean, and I'm just standing there, and I'm like, I'm learning this.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Care for a glass of good Etimon?
Yeah.
You better not be wasting my time. They think, no, I have too much to live for. Better things to do. So, all right, stop me. The Punisher. You said you weren't quite done with the Punisher yet.
I'm not. Should we save that?
Yeah, let's go ahead and save that.
Okay, I got 2 episodes to go, and it's fucking it's on full cylinders right now.
It's so good. Yeah, and
we talked about Battlefront, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we covered it pretty much. I think we've covered everything except how it plays, more or less.
Yeah. Well, I mean, have you played any of it?
I've played some. I've been having issues with the disk drive in my PS4.
Oh, no.
It's constantly ejecting, but it only does it. Like, the last couple days, it's been fine. So, knock on wood that it stays that way. But
so what would you do? Would you get it fixed? Would you go all digital?
I would... Well, because here's the thing that's a real pain in the ass, is that even when there's no disc in it, it'll still eject. So
shit.
Every once in a while, I hear... You know how when you hit the eject on it and there's no disc in it, you get beep, beep, beep? But then it keeps spinning. So sometimes I'll just hear that, like, beep, beep, beep.
Warranty's probably out on it, isn't it?
And it would be the $99 service charge to get it fixed, and I'm like, fuck that.
You'd be without it for a month.
Yeah. So what I did was I spent $1 and started the Xbox Game Pass subscription.
Oh, there you go.
It was $1 for Black Friday, and it's like the PS Now service, but better.
Okay.
Because PS Now, you stream the games. It's their cloud streaming service.
Okay.
So you have a ton of titles to choose from, but you're streaming them. So you are totally dependent on your connection. If your internet connection craps out, game over. If it slows down, your game lags like crazy. With Xbox Game Pass, you get to download the titles. And and you can re-download them, uninstall them, whatever it is, as long as they're part of the program. Once they leave the Game Pass program, then you can't play it anymore unless you decide to buy it. It's kind of like things like the Plus games or the games with gold, where it's like, oh yeah, this game is free, download it, but if you leave the service, you don't get the game anymore.
Oh, okay.
You can't play it. Game Pass is kind of like that, in like, download it, play it, do whatever you want with it, but if we take it out of our library, then you can't play it anymore. But they've got 100 and some titles in there, and good solid Xbox titles. Sunset Overdrive, Dead Rising, everything Halo, everything Gears. They've got a ton of good games in it. It's $10 a month. So it's worth looking into, at least.
Interesting.
Just because it's way more stable than PS Now. Way more stable, because you actually download the games. So if you've got an Xbox, it's worth checking out. But I mean, that's just been because of the issues with my PS4, and I don't have the $99 to ship it to get it fixed and all that. So I mean, it still works, but I just and anything I can play digitally and everything's fine. It's just that when I'm using it, and it's just annoying as hell to keep hearing that sound. It's so
I don't blame
annoying.
you, man.
But like I said, it happens occasionally, and then for the last couple days, everything's been fine. But it did this a while back, once before, and then it quit for months, and now it started doing it again. And I'm like, I just want to ride this out, and then I'll start playing stuff again. But what I played, I really enjoyed. It's what we wanted Battlefront to be in the first place, in terms of gameplay. I really thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah, the gameplay of Battlefront is awesome. I'm loving the guns. I'm loving all the mods and stuff that you add on to it. It sucks the way you get it. That's all.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. They should have done it like the first game, where you get the bounties. All right, I got the bounty. All right, that means I got to kill 30 people and do this and do that and headshots and whatever. Fuck yeah, it would have been great. That would have been a great way to progress through it, and I could have focused on certain guns, focused on certain classes, because you're like you said, it feels great playing it. That's why the people who made this game, my heart goes out to them, because it would suck to be involved with it and have the most backlash of any game I think of all time.
Yeah, probably.
That's gotta suck. The actress that this was her dream. I can't imagine
my heart really goes out to her, because she put everything into this role and everything, and to see none of that's being talked about. It's all being overshadowed.
The other thing, the single player. I'm not a fan of the single player campaign. She does a great job with her acting in it. Yeah. It's not her fault. It's just
it's not a terribly engaging story.
Not at all. You look at going and playing something like Call of Duty to this is just night and day.
Yeah.
It sucks because it's Star Wars. I shouldn't have to fucking kill bugs for literally 5 minutes as Luke Skywalker for no reason.
Yeah, that's
such an awful level, such an awful design. When I have gotten up on a soapbox and talked about Jedi Knight 2 and those games back in the day. Those stories were so much better, so much more. You talk to Luke Skywalker, you go and do that, you go and do this. There's this big mystery. This was just all right, go kill this ship, go jump on this, go it was so secondhand, no thought about it. That's the thing. I played the beta or whatever for the first 3 missions, and they were great.
Yeah.
And then I was so pumped for it. I'm like, this is everything I wanted it to be. And then when I got the game and I played for maybe an hour after that, 2 hours after that, I'm like, this is just bullshit. It just wasn't fun for me. So, it's hard to tell people to go get the game. All the stuff that EA is doing and everything else, it's Redbox it, if you want to get the story and get a feel of the game, because it sucks. I mean, I know we're now going to get the first of the DLC this month with the Resistance and stuff like that. They have a pack or whatever, but
if you want a good Star Wars story, pick up a book.
Exactly. Go pick up a book.
Yeah, I reread Lost Stars last week.
Oh man,
I love it. I could read it again right now if I wanted to. I really love that story.
Oh yeah, it's so good. It's so really good. Speaking of that, the Thrawn book is. They showed the cover for it. It comes out next year.
Yeah,
and,
Thrawn
it teams up with Vader, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, him and Vader on the front. Thrawn Alliances, and it's him and Vader on the cover. That's terrifying. That's absolutely terrifying.
Absolutely. So yeah. If you want a good story, go read the books. Go pick up the comics. There's
Yep.
like however many months now. There's a new comic every week for it. So you can get your Star Wars fix, and like you said, there's a ton of good books. Go read the Captain Phasma book. Hell, go read the prequel to this with her, because it's so much better.
Yeah.
It's a shame that they didn't put it in the fucking game, and it's obvious. EA was just money hungry with this.
Yeah.
And someone at that studio needs to fall on their sword, or it needs to get pulled away ASAP, because it's bullshit. I've been playing way more Call of Duty because of it. Like with my friends, like it's just been, I don't know. There's other things pulling me in other directions. I just got Xenoblade 2 for the Switch that I'm gonna dive into. That's like super fucking JRPG.
There you go. Yeah, it's gonna keep you for a while.
Oh yeah. So I don't know. I've been pulled in other directions, and it's a shame because you guys know I love Star Wars, and it's such a wet fart with this one.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because the mechanics and everything are there to make it awesome, and it's just not. The last few years, you know me, I get my Star Wars mode, and I'm all Star Wars, and it hasn't been like that this year. So I'm hoping that, with the new movie coming out, that I'm going to be right back in it and just fucking pumped and seeing that, 12 times in the theater. And did you see, Chantel sent me this, did you see that Daisy Ridley has said once Episode 9 is done, then she's leaving Rey behind?
Yeah, she's leaving her behind, and I think in the same thing she said, like, obviously I might, go down the road and come back to it, but I think that's kind of cool. Like, I think, once this trilogy is done, I think these actors are ready to be like, okay, that was a great story, and we're going to hand it off to the next people.
Yeah, I'm totally down with that. The idea of, like, this is the story. It's done.
Right. It doesn't need to be like the Marvel 19 movies or whatever.
Right. It's, because we know Rian Johnson's going to have his trilogy, and it's going to be totally different.
Right. And if 10 years down the road, 15, 20 years down the road, they appear in it as like a guest character, fucking fantastic. They would jump onto it too, and they wouldn't feel burned out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm totally down with that. Before we go, though, tell me a little bit about Coco. I didn't see it. I'm going to go see it next week.
I loved it. I loved it so much. I even loved the Disney animated short in front of it, which is not...
A lot of people didn't like that.
I know, because it's long. It's 20 minutes, and I understand people's frustration about it, because it makes the whole movie experience a lot longer. So I understand their why they're upset. I get it.
Yeah, parents, I imagine that would piss them off.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I guess when you go and see the movie and you look up the time and it says the movie is an hour and a half, I'm just saying, and the parents like, okay, well then that means we're only going to be in here for so long. Do they tell you the time plus 20 minutes or
no? The time. Here's the thing. Like what you look up for Coco, like if you go on Google and just look up the runtime for Coco, it's not the runtime for what you're going to sit through.
Because, that could mess people's day up.
Yeah, if you look and you're like, oh, well, it's only like an hour and a half movie. Yeah, add another 20 minutes.
Theaters are probably having to say now, hey, by the way,
there are some theaters. Ours isn't one of them, but there are some theaters that put up things saying that have that will tell you the short, Olaf's Frozen Adventure is 20 minutes, and some of them even have times of so if your showing of Coco starts at 1:30 and you want to skip it, go in at 1:50 or so on and so on. Like some of them are doing that.
That makes sense.
I get it. I understand. I liked it. I thought it was cute. But I'm
sure kids love it.
Yeah, but you go to a Pixar movie and you go in there and you get the 5-6 minute short beforehand, like Piper or something like that. You don't go in there expecting a cartoon. You get a cartoon length cartoon before Coco, and I can understand it. I liked it, but that's, I don't know. It's just me. Coco.
Now, my nephew went and saw it, and his grandfather. My sister-in-law's father, I guess he's exaggerated because he was like, it was an hour long. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, there's an hour beforehand for this Olaf. And I was like, no way, that's crazy.
But I can see where they would be like, it took that long. I get it. But Coco is amazing. It's not just a great Pixar film, it's a great film.
That trailer ripped my heart in half when like he was talking with his grandma and stuff like that, and that just
it's so good, and it's being of the Anglo-Saxon Viking heritage that I am, know nothing of any of these customs at all.
Right.
But what was great was seeing some of the characters and knowing that I've had friends and been over at their houses where one of the first opening scenes is the kid sitting at the table with his whole family, and in comes his grandma and looks down at him and says and just says, "Do you want more?" And he just goes, "No, thank you." And she just stops and stares at him.
Right.
And
it's
that's like
my grandma.
Yeah, it's like, "No, I asked you, do you want more?" And she's just piling tamales onto his plate. I was like, I have seen these people. I know this. I get it. But it's,
my grandma's Cuban, so Spanish grandmas, man, they fill up your plate. And
no. You gotta have more food. You have to have more food. Take more food. But it's funny like that, and it's fun, and it's so great, and there is so much heart in this movie, and there's the big Pixar twist message that comes towards the end because they do it in every movie, and it turns in a handful of different ways, and it was really great. And I mean, you know me, I can't sit through a Pixar movie without a box of Kleenex. There's no way.
Right.
I'm gonna cry through the whole thing. But this one, especially with, and it's one that reaches out, really great to anybody who's had, my grandfather was a guitar player. He was a musician, and he played. And the idea that there's this connection between, your family and music, and, can you connect with family that you've lost through music and everything? That worked for me on a different level too. And just, it's a hell of a movie. It's fantastic. If everybody should go see it. It's so good. It's another, Pixar just absolutely nailed it with this one.
Man.
If you're, you can skip the short if you want to. I mean, it's fine.
I think I'm gonna use my pass. I might skip the short because I don't know. But yeah, I think I might go see Coco.
Yeah, it's like I'm pretty sure
weekend.
It's like a 20-minute short. But just pop in and make sure that you haven't totally missed it.
It's going to be one of those things where I probably show up at the movie theater when the movie starts, grab popcorn, go to the bathroom, get a drink, and then walk into the theater.
Oh yeah, you'd be fine.
And I'll be fine seeing it halfway through.
but definitely go see it. It's so good. It's just so damn good.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that's it. We have a giant episode this week.
Yeah, we have. I kind of can't wait to get back on the End.fm so that we can go back to 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. But we'll be back next week, and it will be on time next week, I promise. Sorry about this last week. But, yeah, we'll talk to you guys. We'll be on next Wednesday. Again, of course, you're listening to We Geek Podcast. We'll be back on the End.fm soon. Make sure you go to our Facebook group, We Geek Podcast. Make sure you like and make sure you subscribe to us and give us a review on iTunes. Go to our Twitter account, at We Geek Podcast, at The Logan Witt, at Adam Estep. Send us some questions to the Gmail, wegeekpodcast@gmail.com. And we'll be back next week. Captain?